Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. I'm in one piece, almost exposed that I am better than Roger. Chapter 41. Mr. One's eyes widened, and his heart was extremely shocked. He never dreamed that the Marine in front of him would kill himself with just one move. What's more terrifying is that I didn't even see Suo Luo's movements clearly. In this world, how could there be such a terrifying guy? His strength, I am afraid that it is not already infinitely close to Hawkeye. Yes, at the moment when Mr. One fell, he not only thought of the man sitting on the throne of the world's #1 swordsman. Why, a man with such terrifying power is just a Marine warrant officer. What is his ambition and conspiracy? Mr. One panted heavily and wanted to raise his arm and grab Suo Luo's ankle. However, the distance between them seems to be close at hand, but it is far away. Mr. One gradually felt that breathing became more and more difficult. The body does not have the power to stand up or crawl forward at all. Even the consciousness is becoming more and more blurred. Just 10 seconds of effort. His heart stopped beating. The body becomes stiff in the sun. Looking at the corpse in front of him, Suo Luo sighed softly. He really didn't want to participate in the fight at all, but since leaving Logue Town, it's as if I go wherever I go in trouble. I often encounter strange and weird guys. After leaving Alabasta this time, I really have to plan carefully. Never mind. Suo Luo took a deep breath, not staying here for a long time, and turned to leave. Now Crocodile is no longer there. As long as Vivi and Kosha meet, the war can be over. Thinking of this, Suo Luo is already drifting away. About half an hour later, Hawkeye and the clown buggy also rushed to the capital Albana, and solved the Mr. 4 and Mr. Merry Christmas of the Baroque Job Club. Then in the city, looking for Suo Luo's figure. As for the rebels, Hawkeye is not interested. Soon, the corpse lying on the flat road attracted his attention. That person. Hawkeye's eyes narrowed slightly, and he walked over in 3 steps in 2 steps. Seeing this, Buggy had to follow him silently. When he saw Mr. One's death, he couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. A good fit man was cut in 2 unexpectedly. It's really miserable. However, Buggy suddenly noticed Hawkeye's eyes. Judging from his reaction, Hawkeye seemed to know the man. You know him? Buggy couldn't help asking. Hawkeye thought for a moment, then nodded. His name is Bonus, and he is a bounty hunter from West Blue. In order to fight Shanks, he went to the other side's hometown, West Blue. It was also at that time that I met Mr. One. He can turn any part of his body into a blade, and he can make his skin as hard as steel. Although he can't be called a swordsman, his own strength is very impressive. Otherwise, Hawkeye would never remember his name. On Bonus's body, there was no second wound left. Hawkeye murmured to himself, and judging from the fall, the opponent should have shot in front of him. Duel. Based on the information on the scene, Hawkeye quickly deduced 2 things. The opponent was not a sneak attack, but a head-on confrontation. And, with just 1 move, Bonus was killed in a second. It's the Marine. With such superb swordsmanship, Suo Luo suddenly appeared in Hawkeye's mind. It must be him. He is in Albana. Once the matter was confirmed, the passion deep in Hawkeye's heart finally cooled down, and it boiled again. The key is, according to the changes in bloodline, Mr. One can be solved by Suo Luo within half an hour at most. It shows that he has not gone far. If it goes well, I might fight him today. On the contrary, Buggy had an ominous premonition in his heart. It seems that the pirates who had something to do with Suo Luo did not end well. If it weren't for yourself, let Hawkeye bring yourself. I'm afraid it's not going to hide in the sea. This guy is a Shinigami. Thinking of this, Buggy couldn't help holding his head in his hands, and couldn't wait to disappear where he was. But, just when Hawkeye was about to turn around and leave, searching for Suo Luo, Smoker took the Marine team and ran into Hawkeye again. You again. Seeing Hawkeye again, Smoker couldn't help but frown, and then noticed the corpse at his feet. Judging by Smoker's years of experience, he was very convinced that this man was beheaded. It's Bonus. Suddenly, Tashigi beside Smoker couldn't help but let out an exclamation. She blinked her eyes hard, seriously wondering if she had an illusion. With a bounty of up to 75 million berry bonus, unexpectedly. It's so dead. Bonus. After Tashigi's reminder, Smoker also reacted. The guy who died at Hawkeye's feet was not a little pirate. If such a guy is put in East Blue, it is definitely a boss-level existence. Hawkeye Mahawk, what on earth do you want to do? Smoker couldn't help asking. Who is he fighting with in the desert? Why is it here to solve Bonus? For a while, Smoker couldn't help but a lot of questions popped up in his heart. And with years of experience, he seriously suspects that there is a conspiracy in it. As for Smoker's conjecture, Hawkeye naturally didn't bother to explain anything. On the one hand, he has no obligation to help Marine understand the truth. On the other hand, his character has always been this way. I am the world's #1 swordsman, why explain to Colonel Marine? You don't need to know. Hawkeye stared at Smoker, leaving a cold sentence, and then left here without looking back. Seeing Hawkeye's lofty attitude, Smoker also clenched his fist. It's really unpleasant, these Shichibukai. Smoker couldn't help venting his complaints. Then he glanced at the corpse on the ground. Although he has great resentment towards Shichibukai, he has to say. One move killed 75 million berries bonus. I'm afraid that only a strong like Shichibukai can do it. Really, terrible swordsmanship. The world's #1 swordsman. Tashigi on the side rolled his throat and swallowed nervously, not only shocked by Hawkeye's swordsmanship. I even realized my insignificance. The gap in strength. Too poor, and the seamen behind them turned their adoring gazes toward Hawkeye. It's really worthy of being the world's #1 swordsman, and he solved the pirate bonus with just one sword. It's horrible, when will I have that kind of strength? Hawkeye is probably the strongest among Shichibukai. Speaking of which, the guy crocodile seems to have left a bomb. Suo Luo originally planned to leave Alabasta and head to Marineford after he got rid of Mr. 1. Anyway, the follow-up problem can be completely solved with the courage of Princess Vivi. But on the way to leave, Suo Luo suddenly recalled this incident. Crocodile in order to get clues to ancient weapon Pluton. In addition to provoking a civil war between the rebel army and the kingdom army, in order to threaten Vivi's father. He also stored a super bomb in the capital Albana. Enough to flatten the entire city. At the critical moment, it was Alabasta's Lieutenant Bell who used the fruit ability to transform into a birdman before taking the bomb into the air and detonating it. Thus saved the city. However, the reason why Vivi and others knew the whereabouts of the bomb was because Crocodile himself threatened Vivi's father to obey his orders. Said it deliberately. Now Crocodile is solved by me. Naturally no one will tell Vivi about the bomb. Even if Vivi finds Koza and prevents this civil war, the power of that bomb will be enough to wipe out everyone. Suo Luo thought to himself. This is why he hates trouble. Winning a battle is very simple, but often after winning the next battle, it will only cause a series of troubles. Forget it, now is not the time to entangle these things. Suo Luo took a deep breath and slowly approached the clock tower in Albana. This is also a great advantage of being a traverser. Let Suo Luo have a partial understanding of what has not happened. For the bomb that Crocodile prepared, and where the bomb was hidden. Suo Luo remembered very clearly. So he hurried, bypassing the rebels attacking Albana. Come to this city, the oldest and most iconic clock tower. And, whether it is the rebel army or the kingdom army, their attention is all attracted by the other, no one will pay attention to the clock tower or Marine at all. In a short while, Suo Luo quietly sneaked into the clock tower and found the bomb. The senior agents of the Baroque Work Agency, Mr. 7 and Mr. Father's Day, are now here. Prepare to launch this super bomb as planned. However, as Suo Luo got close enough to them, they also found Suo Luo. Who are you? Mr. turned his head on Father's Day first, and then noticed the Marine uniform on Suo Luo's body. Immediately took out the weapon, aimed at Suo Luo's vitals, and warned him not to be nosy. They do things for 7 warlords of the sea crocodile. Looking at the two guys in front of him, Suo Luo didn't say a word. He pulled out the unliberated Zanpakuto with one hand, aimed at the huge bomb, and chopped it down. This sudden scene was even more shocking to Mr. Father's Day and Mr. 7. They never dreamed that Marine would suddenly come here and shoot the bomb they were guarding. Could it be that Crocodile's plan has been revealed? But it's not right. Even if Marine did discover Crocodile's conspiracy, and found the bomb based on the clues given by Crocodile, that would not be so reckless. Doesn't he want to live anymore? That's a bomb. A slight collision may detonate it in advance. Stop it now, Mr. Father's Day is almost subconsciously shouting. Although he is very centered on the Baroque Work Club, he does not want to die for the work club. What are you lunatic doing? That's a bomb, powerful enough to raising the entire Albana to the ground. Mr. Seven on the side was even scared, holding his head with both hands, warning Suo Luo loudly. But, now they, apart from showing horrified eyes, don't know how to stop Suo Luo. But where does Suo Luo care about them? He didn't even look at them more. With one hand, another wave, the last one hacked. A sharp cold light flashed. 3 invisible sword auras passed through the bomb at the same time. Cut off all the most critical internal connections. Next second, after slashing this huge ball bomb, it shattered into several pieces and fell to the ground one after another. There was a dull crash. Mr. Point 7 and Mr.'s Father's Day stood on the spot in an instant, like 2 statues. They didn't even dare to breathe. Time passed by every minute and every second. The bomb did not detonate at all. Suo Luo put Zanpakuto into the scabbard with a calm face. In this way, Alabasta's greatest crisis should be resolved. Suo Luo muttered to himself. But in this way, Mr. Seven and Mr. Father's Day, they also saw their own swordsmanship. When Smoker arrives in Albana, maybe they will be arrested. Maybe something extraordinary will come out of the interrogation. Combined with them, they are not a good person setting. Suo Luo shot instantly and punched the air. Just the fist wind stirred the air here, forming a terrifying air current, crushing it towards Mr. Seven and Mr. Father's Day. How could they be able to resist such a majestic force? For a moment, the two of them backed away with a look of horror, and couldn't stop at all. Until I hit the window here, I turned over and fell from the window. Instead, in the midst of an inconspicuous muffled sound, the two of them fell into mashed flesh one after another. As for the screams they made during the fall, he was overwhelmed by heart-piercing roars. The civil war in Alabasta broke out. Has the war begun? Suo Luo couldn't help frowning. He made 3 steps and 2 steps before reaching the position of the clock tower and looking down from a high level. Although Crocodile did not appear in Albana, he had assembled all the members of the Baroque Working Society long before that, and informed them of their plans. Now, these people have started their own work. Using the status of the undercover agent in the Kingdom Army and the Rebel Army, they opened fire at the other side, causing war. That person is. Soon, Suo Luo took advantage of his position and noticed that Vivi was standing in the street in despair. She wanted to find Koza and tell him the truth. However, due to the smoke and dust and the fighting between the two sides, Vivi and Kosha pass by. Now she has not been able to stop all of this at all. Not only that, several members of the rebel army quickly noticed her, raised their weapons, and approached Vivi. In their eyes, as long as it is not a rebel, it's the enemy. And as long as it is an enemy, it should be killed. In an instant, a rebel army raised a scythe for mowing the grass and swept it towards Vivi's white neck. And Straw Hat Crew, who was supposed to protect Vivi, is not here at all. Thinking of this, Suo Luo couldn't help raising his forehead. That's why he hates trouble. Once involved, it will never end. Seeing Vivi fell into danger again, Suo Luo had no choice but to take action. Anyway, I have to shoot, it's better to stop this farce easily. Suo Luo thought to himself. The so-called rebel forces are nothing but civilians who have been deceived in the dark. Even the weapons they use are not regular cold weapons. They are all tools used in some farm work, such as sickle, rake, shovel, etc. And those kingdom troops are not bad guys themselves. If you don't see it, forget it. But it just happened to hit such a thing. It's still uncomfortable to watch these people die. Suo Luo couldn't help but murmured. His eyes condensed slightly, his eyes became serious. Next second, a faint breath burst from Suo Luo's body, and then spread like ripples. In an instant, this weak breath quickly strengthened, formed into a translucent sphere, shrouded the rebel army and the kingdom army living in the field. This force directly acts on their brains, stimulating their innate emotions. Fear. This fear keeps hitting their hearts. dominate their consciousness completely. Soon, regarding Suo Luo as the center, whether it is the rebel army in this conqueror's hockey or the kingdom army. His eyes suddenly turned white, and his vision became pitch black. Then, they released their 5 fingers subconsciously, and the weapons in their hands fell to the ground one after another. Next second, these people's bodies began to lose balance, and their bodies fell forward or backward one after another. This scene was so sudden that Vivi couldn't even react. Her brain was blank and she couldn't understand the situation here. What is the problem? Vivi looked around, then blinked vigorously, seriously wondering if he had any hallucinations. Otherwise, how to explain it? These rebels and the kingdom army will fall in an instant. Correct. Vivi suddenly realized that just now, there seemed to be some air current passing by him. Is it related to that thing? But, who the hell is it? For a while, Vivi was puzzled. I don't know the current situation at all. And Suo Luo has no plans to show up at all. He stood in an inconspicuous position of the clock tower, condescendingly overlooking the whole situation. Confirming that no one was awake except Vivi, he turned and left. It's time to go to Marineford at sea. However, what Suo Luo didn't know was the conqueror's hockey he released almost swept across Albana. It had an indelible impact. The first to bear the brunt was Cobra, king of Alabasta. He was standing above the king's city, and he was still having a headache. How to stop all of this? But I saw that the rebel army and the kingdom army fell to the ground one after another. Do not. It's not just these people. Rao was the guards who followed King Cobra, and at this time he also fell into a blockbuster. The scared King Cobra quickly ran over to confirm. After discovering that they had only passed out, he breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God. Alabasta, finally saved. For a while, King Cobra was relieved and sat on the ground with a plop. The captains of the guards hurriedly stepped forward to investigate the physical condition of King Cobra. But, Robin at this time is also here. I didn't expect that the Alabasta incident would end in this way. Robin couldn't help feeling. Presumably, it's also the masterpiece of that Marine. In Robin's view, the only guy who can do this is the Marine who rescued Princess Vivi in the desert. But, what is he trying to impersonate Smoker? Robin couldn't help but suddenly a lot of questions popped up in his mind. With Suo Luo's strength, he can definitely become the rear admiral of naval headquarters at a young age. Could it be true as Crocodile said? Is this guy like him? Huge ambition and conspiracy buried in the heart. At the same time, inside the city of Albana, Hawkeye and Buggy are still looking for Suo Luo's whereabouts here. However, Suo Luo was not found. But suddenly, a powerful aura flooded all over the world. It instantly caught the attention of Hawkeye. So strong hockey. In an instant, he realized that someone had released the strongest hockey. Conqueror's hockey. In his cognition, this hockey's power is not inferior to the red-haired Shanks man. And, what was certain in Hawkeye's heart, can release this level of Conqueror's hockey in Alabasta. It's the Marine I'm looking for. Only he can be worthy of such a terrifying hockey. Really, a long-lost feeling. The corners of Hawkeye's mouth rose, and just being immersed in this hockey made him extremely excited. Now he can't wait to fight Suo Luo. Buggy, the clown standing beside him, was completely shivering at this moment. He suddenly recalled that it seems that on Logue Town, I feel this Conqueror's hockey. And the other party, but the dragon known as the world's most ferocious criminal. Go on, just kidding, except for the unknown Marine with the most terrifying swordsmanship, even the dragon guy is also in Logue Town. Buggy can't help holding his head in his hands, just feeling his brain blank. We'll die. I will definitely die here today. The other side. The seaport of Albana. Ace, the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. He did not pursue the defected Blackbeard in Alabasta, and was about to go out to sea from here to the next location. However, at this moment, a powerful breath immediately caught his attention. Ace's face changed drastically, and he quickly moved away from the fighting posture. Look in the direction of the Albana Palace. The one just now. As Conqueror's hockey, this overwhelming aura lasted for about half a minute before it stopped. And the coverage is extremely wide. Conqueror's hockey is different from other hockey in that it cannot be inherited through genes, nor can it be cultivated. It's an ultra-rare haki that can only awaken 1 out of a million people. Moreover, even the people who awakened Conqueror's haki, not everyone is the top Conqueror's haki. This guy's haki, it's almost. Ace rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. Not much to lose, Dad. He didn't even dream of it. In the first half of the Grand Line, there was such a terrifying powerhouse. Could it be that guy Crocodile? Soon, Ace remembered that Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, was entrenched in Alabasta. It's a weird guy who has such a powerful force but doesn't enter the new world. Conqueror's haki. Smoker's face suddenly changed in shock. He couldn't be more familiar with this Conqueror's haki. When the Straw Hat crew was making trouble in Logue Town, the Revolutionary Army Dragon appeared there and released the overwhelming Conqueror's haki. Saved Straw Hat crew. This haki is exactly the same as it was then. Combined with the identity of Long Na Revolutionary Army. Like the Civil War in Alabasta, he does have the possibility to participate. Dragon, what are you thinking about? However, feeling this haki at such a close distance also caused Smoker's brain to suffer a lot of shock. The seaman behind him with insufficient willpower turned Byakugan up on the spot, lost consciousness, and fell forward or backward. The seaman with a stronger willpower just persisted for a few more seconds. A few can't breathe, only Smoker, Hawkeye, Buggy, and Tashigi are left here without losing consciousness. But Tashigi's condition is not getting better there. Fresh sweat came out of her forehead and back, and her brain just felt like being hit by a hammer. The state of the whole person was extremely collapsed, and he knelt on the ground with a thump, and had to use a samurai sword against the ground to maintain his balance. Otherwise, she would collapse to the ground like other sea soldiers. This power is really terrifying. This is Tashigi's most intuitive feeling. Fortunately, the overwhelming haki came quickly and disappeared just as quickly. Probably only lasted a few seconds. Otherwise, Tashigi would not be able to stand firm. You stay here. Noting that Smoker, who was in Tashigi's state, gave the order on the spot. On the one hand, he is worried about Tashigi. On the other hand, if the person who released haki in the front is really a dragon. With her strength, she is not qualified to participate in this battle. Even, let alone Tashigi. Even oneself is not sure to keep the dragon behind. After all, he is the world's most murderous criminal. That guy Hina doesn't know when he can arrive. Smoker thought to himself, but noticed that Hawkeye was faster than himself. As soon as Conqueror's haki dissipated, Hawkeye kicked one foot and rushed out very quickly. The way forward is the center of Conqueror's haki spreading in all directions. Colonel Smoker. Tashigi gritted his teeth, trying hard to get up from the ground, but couldn't do it. The more so, the more she hated her weakness in her heart. At the critical moment, I am useless at all. I seem to understand Mr. Suo Luo. Tashigi couldn't help but think of Suo Luo. I am afraid it is precisely because of the lack of power that he will always have an indifferent attitude. That kind of powerlessness, it will really hit a person's righteous heart. Don't think so much, miss. If you feel that you are too weak, just become stronger. What's really terrible is not that it is weak, but there is no sense of justice. Ahead, leave it to me. Smoker glanced at Tashigi, and finally rode the motorcycle resolutely and ran towards the palace in Albana. However, when he came here, the scene greeted him completely shocked him. The rebel army, the kingdom army. Now all fell on the street, his eyes rolled white. It is not difficult to see why they have become like this. Conqueror's haki, and the clown Buggy and Hawkeye are also here. Is it gone anymore? Hawkeye was slightly disappointed. When he arrived here, he used observation haki for the first time. Want to find Suo Luo. The result was nothing. Buggy was dumbfounded again. Although there is no exact data, the scene in front of you. Even if it is conservatively estimated, there are at least hundreds of thousands of people who were killed by Conqueror's haki. And the strong who can do this level. Buggy's first reaction was the Revolutionary Army Dragon. The most dangerous man. But, shocked, Hawkeye did not give up the idea of tracking Suo Luo. Anyway, he himself is the Lone Ranger in 7 Warlords of the Sea. There is nothing more important at present. And the more I track Suo Luo, the more Hawkeye can discover that this guy is stronger than he thought. While at sea, he split the sea with one sword. In the desert, the aftermath of his slashing is like the scorching sun. Now, Suo Luo once again swept the whole Albana with the overwhelming haki. Every piece of information shows that he is a top powerhouse. Even in Hawkeye's eyes, Suo Luo's true strength, I'm afraid, will not lose to Shanks in his heyday. Really. Long-lost excitement. It's been a long time since no one can make me so excited. Hawkeye took a deep breath. There is no clue for Suo Luo, so he naturally does not plan to stay for a long time. So he glanced at the clown buggy, and left here without looking back. Buggy's sight was between Hawkeye and Smoker back and forth. After hesitating for a second, he caught up with Hawkeye. In any case, he didn't want to stay with Colonel Marine. Grumbling. But at this moment, the phone worm that Smoker carried with him began to buzz. Ah! Smoker let out a long sigh, and took the phone worm out of his pocket to answer it. Hina has arrived in Albana with a rain boat. Do you want to start raining now? Colonel Smoker. After learning that Alabasta's civil war was caused by drought and dancing fans, he decisively contacted Colonel Hina of Naval Headquarters and asked her to borrow the artificial rain boat in an attempt to stop the civil war. But now, Smoker looked around and looked at the rebel army, the Kingdom Army, who had fallen unconscious on the ground. There is no need for that now. However, Alabasta has more serious problems. Smoker paused and explained to Hina. It's a Revolutionary Army dragon. Although I don't know what his intention is to appear here, he has used Conqueror's Haki to prevent this civil war. Upon hearing the dragon, Conqueror's Haki and other key messages, Hina's face also changed drastically. Hina is shocked. Colonel Smoker, are you sure? If what you said is true, I'm afraid this incident will cause a sensation in the world government. Even Hina's tone was somewhat trembling. Smoker's answer is even more affirmative. Otherwise, who else can feint an army of hundreds of thousands of people in an instant? It's definitely a dragon. But, the more affirmed Smoker's answer was, the more he shook his heart for Marine's justice. The man behind the disaster was Shichibukai Crocodile, recognized by the world government and the people who saved this country. But he is known as the world's most murderous criminal, Revolutionary Army Dragon. It's ironic. Smoker couldn't help muttering to himself. Marineford, Naval Headquarters. A vice admiral from the headquarters, wearing a coat of justice, hurried to Marshal Sengoku's office. Boom boom boom. The knock on the door was rapid and loud. Please come in. With Sengoku's permission, the vice admiral pushed in. But his face was sullen, as if something terrible happened. The fact is indeed the case. Marshal Sengoku, something is not good. The vice admiral couldn't wait to speak. What he stated was nothing else, it was the Alabasta incident. And, according to Smoker's detailed investigation, basically it can be confirmed. The culprit of the civil unrest in Alabasta is no one else. It is Crocodile, one of 7 warlords of the sea. At first, I saw this vice admiral look so rude. Sengoku couldn't help frowning. But after he broke this information, Sengoku's face couldn't help but become surprised, then shocked, and finally fell into silence. That guy Crocodile. After a long time, Sengoku murmured. He had already heard about Alabasta's condition. It's just that there has been no evidence that Alabasta's civil strife is related to Crocodile, Shichibukai, and the internal affairs of a country. Let alone naval headquarters, the world government has no position of intervention. But, if Crocodile is behind all this, the nature is completely different. Even 7 warlords of the sea recognized by the world government, in essence. Also a pirate. Do not. This is more influential than ordinary pirates. Once this matter ferments, it spreads. It will undoubtedly have a big impact on the credibility of the world government. This matter must be resolved as soon as possible. Not only the face of world government, but also the justice of Marine. Certainly, for the current Sengoku, his heart is more towards justice. Not a face problem. At the same time, Sengoku also thought that Vice Admiral in front of him made such a panic report. It is because Alabasta is completely out of control. That's why Colonel Smoker asked the headquarters for support. Then consider the strength of Crocodile. This time, at least the Vice Admiral of the headquarters will be dispatched. But who knows, this Vice Admiral took a deep breath and shook his head towards Sengoku. It's over. Huh, what do you mean by the end? Could it be that Smoker defeated Crocodile? Sengoku couldn't help being stunned. He also had some impressions of Colonel Smoker. Although the level is not high, but the strength is very outstanding. And also a student of Zephyr. If it wasn't for his character, he would be promoted to Commodore or even Rear Admiral. But compared to Crocodile, Sengoku felt that there was still a certain gap. In fact, this part is what made this Vice Admiral so flustered. Because Smoker clearly emphasized in the content of the report. This time, they hardly played a positive role in the Alabasta incident. It's the Revolutionary Army Dragon. Saved this country. What? As soon as he heard the name of the dragon, Sengoku also got up from his seat with a loud noise. He never dreamed of. It was in this situation that I heard the name of the dragon, the world's most ferocious criminal. Worse, if the truth is exposed once, I'm afraid it will cause an uproar all over the world. Pirates recognized by the world government want to steal the country. The Revolutionary Army, regarded as a criminal by the world government, rescued Alabasta. Sengoku feels a headache just thinking about things like this. But, the dragon guy really used Conqueror's Haki to kill an army of close to 1 million people. Sengoku couldn't help taking a breath. In fact, Conqueror's Haki is also hierarchical. Elementary Conqueror's Haki is just awakened, and is often triggered by emotions such as anger. It can stun the people around it, but cannot control it autonomously. Intermediate Conqueror's Haki can be controlled according to their own will, power, range, and even target can be precisely selected. In an instant, Conqueror's Haki was able to diverge in all directions and cause an army of hundreds of thousands to fall to the ground. This is undoubtedly the most superior Haki control. It is something that a truly strong man with both mind, skill and body can do. Rao is the combat power of naval headquarters, and those who can achieve this level are rare. Although I have known that dragon is not easy, but... Sengoku took a breath. Joke. Men who can form a revolutionary army and overthrow a dozen countries. How could it be an ordinary person? He has practiced Conqueror's Haki to this level, which is actually reasonable. Only, the whereabouts of the dragon has always been secret. Do things more cautiously. Before that, all the information about dragons was mostly speculation. And now, confirmation via Smoker. The guess has become a fact. For Sengoku, it is naturally a shocking thing. At the same time, this also means that the dragon is perhaps even more terrifying than the world government imagined. What about Crocodile? It took a long time for Sengoku to calm down. However, what Sengoku doesn't know is, the fact is not what he thought. Smoker hadn't seen the dragon at all this was just his reasoning, his brain filled. And really have that level of Conqueror's Haki. Actually it is. Suo Luo, the man who really shocked Sengoku. It is also Suo Luo. It was only because of all sorts of mistakes that caused a huge misunderstanding. This. Not very clear. When Vice Admiral heard the words, his face became awkward again. Because Smoker didn't see Crocodile. Whether it is the person or the corpse. The only thing he saw was an extremely heroic battle scene. And the eagle eyes present. Combined with Crocodile as a person who has the ability to eat sand fruit. Smoker speculated that Crocodile was defeated by Hawkeye, and then fled. But, he has no evidence. Even if he asked Hawkeye, this guy had a cold posture and said nothing. And, for the whereabouts of Crocodile, he is also not clear. Even Crocodile is the evidence of the crime behind the scenes. They were all brought out by Princess Vivi. But there is one more point that Smoker specifically advocates. He believes that the Alabasta matter should be, frankly declared to the world. Let this world know the truth about everything. Vice Admiral said righteously. In fact, the justice in his heart is very close to Smoker. Only, Sengoku's face was uncertain. It's not that he doesn't want to, but, considering the influence of this matter, I am afraid that the world government will not allow it. Who was involved in the Alabasta incident? Sengoku asked again as if suddenly thinking of something. In addition to Colonel Smoker, there is also Sergeant Tashigi. Vice Admiral paused. By the way, Smoker said that the Suo Luo warrant officer who was supposed to be trained in this department also happened to be in Alabasta. Alabasta, Albana. Although Suo Luo used Conqueror's Haki to wash the ground, he stunned the rebel army and the kingdom army and prevented the civil war. But this is just a means of delay. When these people wake up, they may calm down, but they may not. So taking advantage of the time when everyone was in a coma, Smoker asked Hina to act according to the original plan. Soon, the sky was densely covered with dark clouds, appearing in patches in various areas of Alabasta. Tick, tick, the raindrops gradually fell from the sky. The fighting rebels and the kingdom army also slowly regained consciousness. When they saw the rain coming, they stood there for the first time, seriously wondering if they had any hallucinations. Even some rebels called the rain a miracle. But in fact, even if Suo Luo raised the ashes of crocodile to worship the sky, it is impossible for Alabasta to experience such a large-scale rainfall. The truth is that Smoker asked Hina to borrow the artificial rainfall boat from the headquarters. After all, according to Smoker's investigation, crocodile was able to provoke the civil war in Alabasta. It is to take advantage of the drought caused by dancing fans, making it difficult for the people to survive. At the same time, Albana and Rainland have become the only cities that can rain. Coupled with the rumors of the king's use of dancing fans, it led to the situation today. Since Crocodile took advantage of the drought, the method of cracking him was simple. A nationwide rainfall is enough to calm everyone down. In any case, no one likes war at all. Princess Vivi also took advantage of the time when everyone calmed down and found Kosha, the leader of the rebel army, and revealed all of Crocodile's conspiracy. The key is, although Crocodile has disappeared from the world, Mr. 2 was defeated by Smoker and fell into Marine's hands. Plus the evidence that Vivi collected while undercover also successfully persuaded everyone recognize the true face of Crocodile. The war came to an end. Suo Luo originally planned to leave after solving the bomb problem, but after thinking about it, he still found Princess Vivi. Although Vivi didn't know why Suo Luo wanted to hide his identity. But she was very clear. If it weren't for Suo Luo's help, the whole Alabasta, it is likely to be destroyed in Crocodile's hands. If anyone saved this country, Suo Luo is undoubtedly the person who contributed. Seeing Suo Luo again, she naturally expressed her gratitude to Suo Luo without hesitation. The words you said to me in the desert, I will definitely remember them. Vivi folded his arms and bowed deeply to Suo Luo. Justice means ensuring the lives and health of the people. Let the people live and work in peace and contentment. Let the people be old-fashioned. Let the people live with dignity. These words will be her life creed and will be thoroughly implemented in the future. But, however, just as Suo Luo was about to turn around and leave, Vivi took the initiative to take a step forward. Her eyes were firm. Could you tell me your name? In fact, Vivi actually thought about it and persuaded Suo Luo to stay in Alabasta. Help yourself to govern this country. But after another thought, how could someone like Suo Luo stay here? After thinking about it, Vivi felt that at least he had to know Suo Luo's name. Looking at Vivi with a sincere face, Suo Luo was silent for a few seconds before finally speaking his name. Suo Luo. With two simple words, Suo Luo left here without looking back. The other side, artificial rainfall on the boat. Smoker and Tashigi arrested the fugitives of the Baroque Working Society based on the clues provided by Vivi. However, nothing was found about Crocodile's clues. It just happened that Crocodile escaped. Smoker couldn't help but complain. With that guy's ambition and strength, even if he was deprived of the title of Shichibukai by the world government because of this incident, he will also try his best to make a comeback. It is precisely because of this. Smoker hates pirates very much. These guys are always reluctant to give up. Colonel Smoker, a seaman first class, brought the phone worm to the deck of the artificial rainfall boat and spoke to Smoker. My phone. Smoker glanced at the other party. A few hours ago, he had reported all the situation here to the headquarters. It is worth mentioning that after learning that Suo Luo also played a part in the Alabasta incident, he deliberately informed this part to the headquarters. This is also to allow Suo Luo to get the attention of the department when he is training. Now it is a normal process to receive a call from the headquarters. I am Smoker, Colonel Smoker. The upper management has made a decision regarding the Alabasta incident. The operator on the other side paused for a while. I will award medals to you, Mr. Tashigi Sao, and Suo Luo Warrant Officer, and upgrade each of you to 1 level. Awarding a medal. Smoker frowned upon hearing this. Regarding the content of each level up, he was not surprised. But the medal, Have you read the report of my fight? The one who defeated Crocodile, not us. Although Long and Hawkeye's shots made him unexpected. But I have to admit that if there are no such people, their strength alone is not enough to shake Crocodile's Baroque work society. Most importantly, Smoker has a strong sense of justice in his heart. It's not his credit, he doesn't want it at all. However, the other party seemed to have not heard Smoker's words. The upper management hopes that you can come to the headquarters and attend the medal award ceremony. After all, you can save Alabasta's heroes. Although the world government has read Smoker's report, if it assigns the credit to the leader of the Revolutionary Army, it's more than telling the world that it was the pirate who saved Alabasta. After some discussion, Smoker also became the man behind the scenes. If you change someone else, you might just accept it with peace of mind. But for Smoker, this way of handling made him very upset. Hey, you guys, tell me the old men from the world government. The blue veins on Smoker's forehead burst, and he took a deep breath. Smoker, realizing what Smoker was going to say, Hina hurriedly stopped his behavior, but was still a step slower. Let them eat shit, Smoker yelled, then hung up the phone angrily. These guys, in order to maintain their image, would rather deceive the world. What kind of justice is this kind of behavior in the end? Albana Doc. In order to thank Suoluo for saving Arabates, Princess Vivi specially sent Suoluo a boat that could go to sea. But before leaving Alabasta, Suoluo has one more thing to deal with. Actually, your true identity is Nico Robin, right? Suoluo blocked a woman's path with her body. Although she pressed the brim of her hat very low to block her appearance, Suoluo spotted her in the crowd. Although Hancock is the world's #1 beauty recognized by the original author. But Robin's appearance is not much worse than Hancock. Just a little dress up, walking in the crowd is bound to attract the attention of many people. Coupled with observation hockey, Suoluo wants to find Robin is not a difficult task. When Robin heard the words, she stopped immediately. She raised her head and looked straight ahead, facing Suoluo's eyes. In fact, Robin joined the Baroque Work Agency to a large extent to understand the historical text owned by Alabasta. She has no interest in Crocodile's ambitions. And the two sides are not companions. That's why she helped Vivi several times. Now Crocodile has been killed, and the Baroque workshop has been forcibly disbanded. Most of the members were arrested by Marine. It is Robin, and there is no reason to stay in Alabasta. She is now preparing to leave this country. Go to the next place and look for clues to the historical text. Unexpectedly, Suoluo was foreseen here. Until now, she still remembers clearly the shock that Suoluo brought to her when she first met Suoluo. With the strength of this guy, if you want to shoot yourself, a spike can be achieved in an instant. There are also battles in the desert. Although Robin was not present for the first time, he inferred from various clues. The person who solved Crocodile was probably Suoluo. And later Conqueror's hockey. Be more sure of Robin's ideas. The strength of this guy. Very horrible. For a while, Robin couldn't help feeling pressured. The forehead and back were all fresh cold sweat. But, Robin still suppressed this emotion, pretending to be calm, and tentatively asking, "So, are you here to arrest me?" "Yes, nor is it." Suoluo's answer was ambiguous. "It mainly depends on your attitude. I'm here to negotiate terms. Since Luffy appeared in Logue Town, I seem to be in bad luck all the time. When I didn't want to meet Luffy, I just ran into Luffy. When I didn't want to foresee the dragon, I ran into the dragon again. Then there is Hawkeye. After the Red Line, it was Princess Vivi and the killer of the Baroque Job Club. Then it was Crocodile. Obviously I only want to salt fish, but I always encounter a lot of troubles. If you continue, maybe you will encounter any problems before Marineford." After thinking about it for a while, Suoluo wondered if he should take Robin to go out together. You know, she was regarded as a demon girl by the world government at the age of 8. The bounty is as high as nearly 80 million berry. However, she only fell into Eni's lobby when she was 28. This is because she wants to protect Straw Hat Crew. If she was the only one, she might be able to remain anonymous for a while. What is this ability? This is Go. In addition to this, she herself is a pretty intelligent woman. It was easy to sit down at the Deputy President and Supreme Commander of the Baroque Working Society, codenamed Mr. Sunday. Knowledge is also very profound. I know everything about world government, navigation, and pirates in detail. And her fruit ability. Eavesdropping of information can be done easily. He has a calm personality and can read a book in a chair safely even in a storm. In addition to being wanted by the world government, Robin can be said to be a pretty good teammate. Even if it weren't for being wanted by the world government, he would like to invite Robin to join Marine in an open and honest manner. Become your own assistant. So Suo Luo recounted his general thoughts. He hopes Robin can get on the boat. This sudden scene naturally made Robin unexpected. She was stunned on the spot, seeming a little at a loss. Now, what's going on? I was invited by Marine to board the ship. He said he was not arresting himself. Stop kidding, Marine. A black line appeared on Robin's forehead. Since you know my identity, you should know the attitude of the world government towards me. I'm not kidding, I'm serious. Suo Luo said slowly. Anyway, disguising your identity is what you do best, and what's wrong with being a Marine? There are wages, benefits, and safety. As long as you don't let the world government find you, there will be no problem. And, the more dangerous the place, the safer it is. It's better than you go out to sea as a pirate. Being a pirate has no future. Suo Luo gave a serious explanation. In fact, going to naval headquarters this time is just a process. When the time comes, just stay away from those vice admiral, and his like. Give Robin another identity. No one should find out. Secondly, it doesn't matter if you find it. I said I was fooled. Feeling cheated by Robin. This kind of thing that will never lose. There is no reason not to do it. Looking at a serious Suo Luo, Robin frowned. She knew very well in her heart that she could not beat Suo Luo. Knowing that he could not beat Suo Luo, he still shot Suo Luo, which is undoubtedly an idiot behavior. What purpose do you have? After a moment of silence, Robin couldn't help asking. In her opinion, there must be some conspiracy and ambition in Suo Luo's heart. Otherwise, how could such a thing be done? I need your mind. Robin, it's like this, I have a friend. Suo Luo organized the language a little bit. He is an excellent Marine, but he is easily content with life. There is nothing to maintain the public order of the town, and life is also nourishing. As a result, due to some force majeure accidents, he was called to naval headquarters. You should be familiar with things like world government and Marine, right? So I want to help my friend ask if there is any way he can go to the Seahai branch safely, preferably East Blue. Suo Luo thought for a moment. After Luffy went to sea, all the big things were focused on the Grand Line. Coupled with the end of the war at the top, Garp returned to East Blue. There are very few pirates there. There is simply no place more suitable for elderly care than there. This friend you are talking about, isn't it you? Robin couldn't help but spit out. Is this man's ambition in East Blue? The birthplace of One Piece Roger. Although Robin still did not guess what Suo Luo's ambitions and conspiracies were, she still decided to go to sea with Suo Luo. On the one hand, there is a huge gap in strength between himself and Suo Luo, and the opponent is Marine. Said it was an invitation, but I am afraid I have no chance to refuse. On the other hand, it is not the first time Robin has met Suo Luo before this. He is not only powerful, but also a little mysterious, which makes Robin somewhat curious. After thinking about it, Robin felt that there was nothing wrong with agreeing to Suo Luo's terms. In this way, Robin and Suo Luo hit it off and boarded a boat together in Albana and set off for Marineford. It is worth mentioning that, although Shuangzixia can choose 7 different routes to enter the Grand Line. But as we approach the holy place of Mariajoy, the islands will become less and less. This is why the 11 supernova will eventually meet in Sabayati Archipelago. Simply because the further the route, the less the choice. Regardless of calm belt and marine forces, Sabayati Archipelago can be said to be the last island for the pirates in the first half of the Grand Line. If you want to continue traveling, you can only coat the pirate ship, and then pass under the holy place Mariajoy to the Fishmen Island. Start again from there and arrive at the second half of the Grand Line. Suo Luo himself is a traverser, coupled with Robin's profound knowledge. He quickly figured out the next route. There are about 3 routes to reach Marineford smoothly. The first is to go to Calm Belt, from there you can go straight to Impel Down, and then to Marineford. But what Princess Vivi prepared for Suoluo was only an ordinary sailing boat, which was unable to sail in the Calm Belt area. Secondly, between Impel Down and Marineford, there is a gate of justice. There is basically no hope of passing through. Although the Calm Belt route is the safest, there are a lot of problems. Suoluo thought to himself, vetoing the first route. Then there is the route taken by Straw Hat crew. After leaving Alabasta, head to Gaia Island, then Long Ring Long Island, and finally reach the city of Seven Waters. Or head left, head to Carnival City, and then use the sea train there to ride all the way to the city of Seven Waters. The good thing is that you will never encounter Straw Hat crew or Blackbeard on the way. A lot of trouble can be avoided. The only downside is probably, if you choose to take the sea train, you must go to the capital of Seven Waters and find a new ship. However, one thing is certain, no matter what Suoluo chooses, the capital of Seven Waters will not be able to bypass it. After careful consideration, Suoluo decided to take Robin to Carnival City first, and then take a sea train from there to the city of Seven Waters. Anyway, the most famous thing in the city of Seven Waters is the boat house. It's certainly not hard to find things like boats. The only thing to be careful about is probably the undercover CP9. However, since you know who the CP9 people are, there is nothing to worry about. In Suoluo's view, the reason why Straw Hat crew is stale in the city of Seven Waters. In addition to the problem of strength, Straw Hat crew is also in the light, and CP9 is in the dark. Was caught off guard by the opponent. But his situation is just the other way round. I am dark, CP9 is bright. Just pay attention, there should be no problems. And, I am also different from Straw Hat crew, I need to repair Going Merry in the city of Seven Waters, so I have to stay there for a while. Maybe, I took Robin through the city of Seven Waters, but the CP9 people hadn't waited for the reaction. I have already left. After making up his mind, Suoluo adjusted the course of the sailboat and set off directly. Robin, let's continue the previous topic. Suoluo moved the beach chair to the deck and began to enjoy the sea breeze and sunshine. Even in the first half of the Grand Line, such good weather is not common. And Robin also has a general understanding of Suoluo through these days of contact. Knowing that he decided to join Marine 9 years ago. And became Smoker's subordinate in Logue Town. Because he performed well in Logue Town, he was recommended by Smoker and the military commander there. This allowed him to go to naval headquarters for training. And his rank is just a warrant officer. Certainly. This also caused new questions in Robin's mind. Obviously the strength is so powerful, but now he is just a warrant officer. What is his ambition? Treasure, strength, that power. If you want to hide your strength from others, the best way is to stay by the side of the strong. Robin began to share his experience. Over the years, she has been able to escape marine capture time and time again. In addition to getting some help from friends. This principle is also in character. Even Robin will choose to board Suoluo's ship this time because he is strong enough. At least, in Robin's mind, Suoluo is a strong presence. Only, up to now, there is no such strong person who truly accepts himself. They just see themselves as a tool. When necessary, it can be discarded at any time. Even Robin thinks that Suoluo has the same idea. If he finds out those things between himself and CP9, he will definitely betray himself like everyone else. As long as that strong person is strong enough, there will be no chance for you to shoot, and naturally no one will discover your strength. Those troubles will not find you. Robin said calmly. It's not me, it's my friend. Suoluo corrected it. But he thought Robin was right. Think about it carefully, for the first 9 years, I was able to live in Logue Town unharmed. Isn't it because Smoker is a strong one? At least, few of East Blue's pirates are Smoker's opponents. Those who have been able to fight Smoker will not come to Logue Town to make trouble. As a result, Luffy's uproar caused Smoker to leave him. Instead, every time I met a pirate, I couldn't help myself. Of course, Smoker's strength is also limited to Logue Town. Entering the Grand Line, Smoker's positioning does not belong to the range of the strong. Whether it's the Eagle Eye that I met, or Crocodile. Both are better than the current smoker. If it is encountered, I am afraid that instead of trying to save smoker by himself, the strong Suo Luo took a deep breath and began to use the identity of the traverser, thinking that the strong one would better meet his own requirements. In addition, your friend can also join the faction to allow him to achieve some goals, such as operating through the faction, allowing your friend to go to relatively safe waters. Robin added. Regarding Suo Luo's question, Robin actually has many ideas. But considering Suo Luo's terrifying strength, Robin felt that his mind would not be bad either. On the contrary, Robin even thinks that Suo Luo's intelligence is quite terrifying. The reason for asking such a question is that it is a kind of temptation on oneself. After thinking about it, Robin only provided 2 ideas. Stay by the side of the strong, or join the faction. Suo Luo thought to himself. In his opinion, these 2 things are not in conflict, but just a matter of final choice. And can meet the strong personality. Naval headquarters are nothing more than just those few. Sengoku of Buddha, Tekken Garp, and Marine 3 Admiral. From the current point of view, Sengoku is undoubtedly the best candidate for him. He is strong enough, and he is also the marshal of his headquarters. It is the strongest one in Marine's internal faction. And, as a traverser, Suo Luo is also very clear in his heart. This guy Sengoku chose to take the blame and resign after the top war and retired to the second line. But if you want to join the Sengoku faction, what will be easy there? Not to mention that I can't reach this guy. Even after getting in touch, considering Sengoku's personality, it is difficult to get closer to each other. Then there is Marine 3 Admiral Akainu. Suo Luo couldn't help shaking his head as soon as the image of Akainu emerged in his mind. This guy is definitely a radical of naval headquarters. After becoming the headquarters marshal, he made a radical move to move naval headquarters into New World. If I join the Akainu faction, I am afraid that he will be sent out to fight Kaido. No, Suo Luo denied on the spot. Then there is Aokiji. He believes in lazy justice, which is somewhat similar to himself. But, after the war on the top, Aokiji and Akainu fought for the position of marshal. After the failure, he left Marine. Although the original work does not mention more detailed parts, it is based on Suo Luo's guess. At that time, I am afraid that people who are not from the Aokiji faction will be rearranged by Akainu. Either be transferred to all over the world. Suo Luo muttered to himself. If he can be transferred to all over the world, he will be able to live in peace of mind. But according to Akainu's character, it is more likely to be transferred to New World and 4 emperors to die. As for the green bull coming from behind, Fujitora. In Suo Luo's eyes, they are just senior wage earners. Kizaru. This guy's style is pretty good. After thinking about it, Suo Luo felt that Kizaru Admiral was also suitable for him. But, except for Kizaru, there is one more candidate. Suo Luo felt very appetite for him. Tekken Garp. Although he is only a Marine Vice Admiral, anyone who knows One Piece knows it. This guy and Roger teamed up to destroy Rock's Pirate in the Battle of the Valley of Gods more than 30 years ago. What monsters are in Rock's Pirate? Whitebeard. Ant. Kaido. Of the 4 Sea Emperors of New World, 3 came out of Rock's Pirate. With this battle, Garp became a Marine hero. It is no exaggeration to say that it is the spiritual pillar of all Marine. The key is, after the top war ended, Garp submitted his resignation and returned to East Blue. Occasionally help naval headquarters train new people. If it can mix with Garp, I can definitely retire decades in advance. And with Garp's prestige, I think, there won't be that pirate who would be stupid to run to him to find something. An easy life. Besides, there is the most important point. Although Garp is Vice Admiral, his usual job is probably to train new people. And this time I went to naval headquarters to receive training. Maybe you can get acquainted with Garp through this opportunity. Then, join Garp's faction. Suo Luo thought carefully. According to Robin's proposal, the final target was Kizaru and Garp. Of course, how to operate it, you need to go to naval headquarters. Be adaptable. However, if you want to join a faction, is it better to let the upper class notice my friend? Suo Luo suddenly thought, factions are not something you can join if you want to. After all, no one needs cannon fodder. But Suo Luo also knew in his heart. Regarding this point, it is a matter of choice. Forget it, anyway, my hidden strength system can get rewards as long as I don't reveal all my strength. A slight display of Rear Admiral level strength should be able to attract the attention of the upper management. As for Smoker's question, just say you eat devil fruit. Suo Luo suddenly thought that in the world of One Piece, there is also a setting like devil fruit, which can forcibly enhance the strength. After determining the next goal, Suo Luo casually enjoyed the sea breeze and sunshine. Go to Carnival City with Robin. But, just the second day of the voyage, the phone worm that Suo Luo carried with him began to make a humming sound. I am Suo Luo. This phone worm is actually dedicated internally by Marine. Apart from Marine, no one will use this phone worm to get in touch with themselves. The result was the same as Suo Luo expected. Mr. Suo Luo, this is Tashigi. What's the matter, Tashigi? Suo Luo asked calmly. The Alabasta incident is over, but something went wrong. Judging from the tone of Tashigi's speech, Suo Luo felt that she was not in good shape. In fact, it is true. The Alabasta incident not only allowed her to recognize her own weakness, it also made her waver at the justice that she had always believed in. Obviously, it was the dragon who saved Alabasta. As a result, the world government chose to cover up the truth and assigned the credit to Colonel Smoker. Although Colonel Smoker, I, and Mr. Suo Luo have all been promoted to one level, what justice is there in this kind of thing? And the guy Crocodile, obviously a pirate recognized by the world government. Tashigi couldn't help but began to complain. On the contrary, Suo Luo couldn't help but stunned. This matter, what does it have to do with the dragon? Wait, I break through again. I was a warrant officer before going to sea. If you get one level up, then it's ensign. In addition, Logue Town is a town under the jurisdiction of Naval Headquarters. This also means, I am now ensign of Naval Headquarters. However, Suo Luo quickly realized why Tashigi and Smoker were sure that it was the dragon who saved Alabasta. It was Conqueror's haki that he released, which caused Smoker to misunderstand. In other words, it is known as the world's most murderous criminal, Revolutionary Army Dragon. Become his own backup man. Although Suo Luo was not expected to be promoted by one level, he considered his next plan. This is not a bad thing. In addition to this incident, Tashigi suddenly called, hoping that Suo Luo could travel with them. Because of the Alabasta incident, Smoker needs to go to Marineford to receive the medal. The plan to capture Straw Hat Crew was completely disrupted. Certainly, Suo Luo, who knows a little about Smoker, naturally doesn't think Smoker is going to accept the medal obediently. If I'm not mistaken, Smoker wants to go to the upper class to make a theory. Suo Luo couldn't help but complain, and then refused Tashigi's kindness. Said that he had already gone to sea. Arranged to meet at Marineford. Seeing Suo Luo like this, Tashigi did not force it. And the next trip will be very comfortable. Because Suo Luo chose a detour. What Straw Hat Crew? Blackbeard Pirates. Silver Fox Fox. Suo Luo never encountered it. After several days of sailing, he took Robin to Carnival City. Then take a sea train from Carnival City, all the way to the city of Seven Waters. Unobstructed. A few days later, in front of the sea train, a prosperous island city is located in the front. Sitting by the window, Suo Luo could even witness the prosperity of the island at a glance. It's really worthy of being the city of Seven Waters. The prosperous level is far beyond the reign of Crocodile. Suo Luo couldn't help but exclaimed. Although he had seen One Piece before crossing. However, the shock brought by this kind of personal experience is far from comparable to the picture displayed through a screen. No wonder there are countless pirates rushing to the sea. And as the city of Seven Waters came into view, the sea train also ordered to move forward at full speed and prepare for landing. For a time, the sea train moved forward at full speed. The distance from the city of Seven Waters is getting closer and closer. And this prosperous island is more clearly displayed in Suo Luo's eyes. The entire city of Seven Waters is not like an island, but a city built on the sea. Whether it is structure or structure, it is refreshing. It is no exaggeration to say that it is a water park. At the top of the city, there are countless waterways flowing continuously downwards, forming waterways for sailing ships. Very convenient. Besides, The sea train is also the pride of the 7 capitals of water. On the entire Grand Line, only the city of 7 waters can be built. Rao is the world government, and it only uses these sea trains in a cooperative way. At this moment, Suo Luo seemed to have suddenly thought of something. He turned to look at Robin beside him. You said that the speed of sea trains is not slower than that of sailing boats, but it is also very convenient and comfortable. It is far less bumpy than sailing boats, and it can travel steadily even in heavy rain. Such a convenient means of transportation, if it can cover the entire world, wouldn't it be very convenient? Originally, Suo Luo only regarded this sea train as a spectacle on the Grand Line. But after personal experience, he saw a certain way. Robin, who is knowledgeable, didn't expect Suo Luo to ask this suddenly, staring blankly before opening Shikai. Although the sea train is convenient, it costs a lot of money. If you want to spread it all over the sea, the cost is quite a headache. Don't say that the world government only cooperates with sea trains. It really has the technology of sea trains. They will not do such an extravagant and wasteful thing. Robin paused for a moment, but, what are you asking for? Then you say, what about the Revolutionary Army? Will they? Suo Luo didn't answer the question. Revolutionary Army. Robin frowned, wondering what connection the sea train had with the world government and the Revolutionary Army. But according to her knowledge of the Revolutionary Army, it is estimated that this kind of meaningless thing will not be done. What the Revolutionary Army has to do is to liberate the country and defeat the privileged celestial dragons. As for the construction of sea trains, that is not their revolutionary thinking. What are you trying to say? Robin asked again. It's nothing, just more emotional. Suo Luo was silent for a moment. Maybe it was too long after being away from the flower planter. Maybe it's because I haven't talked to anyone about my past. Suo Luo looked at the Kashui city getting closer and closer outside the window, and said with some emotion. Somewhere, there is such a country. Even in small villages with only dozens of people living in them, we must provide them with water and electricity so that they can live the lives of modern people. Even if they spend a lot of money, manpower, material resources, and no profit for this, their leaders will not hesitate. Hearing this, Robin naturally widened his eyes on the spot, and his mouth opened into an "oh" shape in surprise. Even she, who is very knowledgeable, has never heard of such a country. Even, Robin once felt that the king of Alabasta already loved the common people deeply. But compared with the country mentioned by Suo Luo, it is simply not worth mentioning. Is there really such a country? Where is it? I really want to take a look at the country you are talking about and the king who governs that country. Then you will definitely make a worthwhile trip. Suo Luo said with a smile. However, there is no king in that country. The so-called leader is just elected from among the people. For a while, Robin, who finally calmed down, was stunned again. Robin doesn't understand. No one in this world will understand. The reason why that country is like this is not because of the king's love for the people, but out of the true feelings and responsibilities of the family, the country and the world. Even Robin, in her cognition, is bound by the king's ideals. Don't talk about Robin. It is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long. Suo Luo is also skeptical about whether he really understands revolution. It just overthrew those tyrannical countries and then replaced them with a king who was close to the people. This is also called a revolution. It's hilarious. Especially the plot of Wano Kuni in One Piece. Drive the tyrannical snake down, defeat Kaido, and support Momonosuke to take office. It's almost the limit that people in this world can think of. Then why are you leaving there? Seeing Suo Luo's side face looking out the window again, Robin couldn't help asking. Since Suo Luo is a very contented person, he should stay in that country. Why? Want to join Marine? It's not that I left, it's that I can't go back. If you can go back. With my current strength, I am afraid the first thing is to destroy the Lighthouse Nation. Suo Luo thought to himself. Soon, the sea train successfully arrived at the city of 7 Waters and stopped steadily. Passengers on the train got off, and the station also gathered all kinds of people. Let's go, Robin, get out of here as soon as you find the ship. Suo Luo said so. In any case, he didn't want to get involved with CP9. Chapter 51. The sea train successfully arrived at the capital of Seven Waters and stopped steadily. Suo Luo and Robin chose to act separately. This is also to protect Robin. In addition to CP9, he wants to get Robin, who can interpret ancient characters. They also need ancient weapon Pluton's production drawings. Legend has it that Pluton was a criminal warship in the history of shipbuilding, and it could destroy an island with just one shot. And it built its dock back then. It is the city of Seven Waters. In order to allow Pluton to appear once again, Lu Qi led the members of CP9 and spent several years lurking in the Carrera Shipbuilding Company in the capital of Seven Waters. In other words, Suo Luo wants to go to the dock to get a boat. It is very likely that you will meet CP9 people. If you let them find themselves with Robin, I'm afraid it will cause a lot of trouble. Even after talking to Robin, Suo Luo hopes that he can attract the attention of the upper-level people in the department. But I don't want it to be this way. After thinking a little bit, Suo Luo decided to keep Robin away from the place where he can reach CP9. When I get the boat, I will take her out of here. Thinking of this, Suo Luo took out a phone bug from his pocket and threw it directly to Robin. If you encounter any danger, use this to contact me. After Suo Luo said, he left Robin without looking back and headed to dock number 1 alone. Where to find the boat? Robin looked at Suo Luo's back and glanced down at the phone worm in his hand. Is it dangerous? I always feel that Suo Luo seems to have something in his words. Never mind. Forget about it. Robin carefully collected the phone worm, and simply stayed in the space where Suo Luo was looking for the boat to enjoy the local customs. Speaking of the city of Seven Waters, Carrera and Dock 1 are naturally inevitable topics. As long as you just pull people over on the street and ask, there is nothing you don't know. After some inquiries, Suo Luo went all the way to the shipyard. In order to facilitate the movement, Suo Luo did not change into the marine uniform. He took a look at the environment of dockyard number 1 and walked straight on. In any case, this is Carrera's best shipyard. And, before the rain was destroyed, Suo Luo deliberately won a fortune at the Crocodile Rain Banquet. Enough to buy a good boat here. If everything goes well, you will be able to reach Marineford in a few days. Thought of this, Suo Luo stepped forward and walked into this noisy dock number 1 very easily. But, for dock number 1, which is often visited by pirates, wearing a marine uniform, Suo Luo walked on the noisy dock 1, and soon attracted the attention of many shipbuilders. Hello, do you have any needs? Suddenly, a shipbuilder strode out of the crowd and blocked Suo Luo's path. With a smile on his lips, he asked cordially. Suo Luo also looked at him along the way. A unique long nose, a black peaked cap. She is tall and thin. Suo Luo recognized his identity at a glance. Kaku. On the surface, he is one of Carrera's 5 outstanding shipbuilders. But in fact, his identity is surprisingly one of the secret agents of CP9. And, looking at the entire CP9 team, his strength is quite impressive. All this is really a coincidence. Coincidentally, Suo Luo didn't expect it at all. When I came to Dock No. 1, I ran into the secret agent of CP9. Fortunately, I didn't bring Robin here directly, otherwise, this scene is really embarrassing. Suo Luo couldn't help but complain, but there was a smile on his face. However, what Suo Luo didn't know was, all this is no coincidence. As the secret cipher pulled directly under the world government, they have always mastered a large amount of unknown information. The Alabasta incident was revealed. They locked Robin. And through the powerful intelligence network deployed around the world, Robin's whereabouts were quickly determined. It was discovered that she not only came to the city of Seven Waters by sea train, but was also accompanied by a marine. In this case, CP9 was unexpected, although it is also doing things for the world government. But in this world, there are always some things that are not visible. At this time, CP9 is often needed for processing. Even the naval headquarters, there are very few people who know the CP9 organization. This also means that it is naturally impossible for them to appear in front of Marine openly. Take Robin away. Unless, kill this Marine. Take Robin away without knowing it. But then again, although CP9 has the right to execute others at will out of justice, they themselves are not murderous madmen. Not to mention, Suo Luo's identity, they are not completely master. After all, the uniform he is wearing now is just a warrant officer. A warrant officer was able to catch a robin with a bounty of up to 80 million berry. This kind of thing is really unusual. For safety reasons, Lu Qi decided to let Kaku contact Suo Luo temporarily. Check the situation. If necessary, it is not impossible to solve Suo Luo directly at Dock 1. As such that, I need a boat, Suo Luo said with a smile. Although he recognized Kaku at a glance, as long as the other party did not identify him. Then I don't want to cause trouble here. Pay the money in one hand and the boat in the other. Finished and left. Then you really came to the right place, sir. Kaku took a deep breath and began to talk about the greatness of No One Dockyard, and developed both proficient and professional sales skills to Suo Luo. Rao is the shipbuilder here, and he was also taken aback. In their impression, although Kaku is very good, he is also very enthusiastic about his work. But it was the first time I saw someone talking with people enthusiastically like this. Maybe, there is something happy about it. In this way, Kaku made a gesture and asked Suo Luo to come with him. However, in my impression, Marines should be a unit of troops. By the way, I don't know what to call it yet. Suo Luo suddenly turned to Kaku to test Suo Luo. Although he was enthusiastic on the surface, he was thinking of another thing in his heart. Even if Suo Luo is really Marine, he can't be allowed to interfere with the CP9 plan. For this plan, they have prepared for several years. From lurking into the Carrera Company, until now. They consume a lot of time and energy. How can you give up just because it's just Marine? They now have no retreat. You can only succeed, not fail. You know, the people at the top have considerable determination to this plan. Once it fails, it's not just him or Lu Qi. I am afraid that the entire CP9 will usher in an extinction. If it doesn't work, you can only solve this Marine here. Kaku's eyes narrowed slightly, and a murderous look flashed through his eyes. Please follow me, Kaku smiled and said, motioning Suo Luo to follow in his footsteps. At the same time, gestured to the other shipbuilding craftsmen, letting them go to their own affairs. As for the question raised by Kaku, Suo Luo also just prevarication. Said that their troops encountered pirates at sea. Only a few people were left to escape. But the ship was destroyed. So you can only reach the capital of the Seven Waters by sea train. That's really hard work. Kaku paused. I remember, we happen to have a sailing boat here that can meet your needs. I remember it should be here. Kaku pointed in a remote direction. Even the shipbuilders at dock number 1 rarely go to such corners. And in his heart, there is another thing in mind. Even Marine can't stop their plan. Even if you kill him, let the plan be completed smoothly. A chill gleamed from Kaku's eyes. Judging from Suo Luo's uniform, he is at best a warrant officer. And their plan has always been favored by the world government. Which is lighter and heavier shall be judged higher and lower. And Kaku believes that even naval headquarters will not care about it. And, by the means of Kaku, he also didn't think that naval headquarters would find Suo Luo's body. At most, this incident was considered Suo Luo's disappearance. Anyway, the woman next to him. It's not a good crop. Thought of this, Kaku completely moved to kill. As a CP9 agent, Kaku has always had a different sense of superiority in his work and identity. Even in his eyes, Marines like Suo Luo. But it is a subordinate of the CP9 organization. Even if he killed him, he would not have any psychological burden. In the next second, he hid his killing intent. However, although this killing intent came and went fast, it was still caught by Suo Luo. That was just now, killing intent. Suo Luo looked around, he was very sure. There is only oneself and Kaku in this area. And he was quite sure that it was definitely not an illusion. In fact, the sudden appearance of Kaku made Suo Luo feel that it was a coincidence. It's even a bit too coincidental. Dock 1 is the pride of Carrera. There are not a few people who come in and out every day. What a coincidence. Now combine this killing intent. Maybe CP9 has noticed the city of Seven Waters where he and Robin arrived together. Could it be the sea train? Suo Luo's eyes narrowed slightly, and he deduced that it was most likely that there were people from the CP organization on the train. It seems that I still underestimated the CP9's ability to do things. Suo Luo felt a little emotional. You know, he is still wearing a uniform. It's from Marine. It's one's own. The guy in front of him still had a murderous intent on himself. This group of CP9 agents are really willing to kill. But I want to come. CP9 is the most secretive spy department of the world government. Special powers have always been granted. You can execute anyone on your own for justice. These people, it can be a pirate. It can also be a soldier of a country. It can even be Marine. This kind of power will naturally make these guys defiant. Do things without fear, and the most ironic thing is, he obviously didn't do anything. Just because he appeared in the City of Seven Waters with Robin, the other party wanted to wipe out his own unstable factor. I really don't know what to say. These guys are doing their duty. Still, recklessly. Speaking of it, from the very beginning, the number of shipbuilders seems to be decreasing. Suo Luo observes the surrounding environment from the corner of his eye. The more you move forward, the more remote the location. The fewer shipbuilders. Combined with the killing intent just now, even a fool can guess Kaku's plan. I have to leave this place of right and wrong as soon as possible. Suo Luo thought to himself, and at the same time healed his body with his own way. He stared slightly at the back of Kaku's neck, slowly exuding his killing intent. A chill rushed to Kaku away. Hiss. In an instant, Kaku's expression froze, as if goosebumps were rising all over the mountain. Especially the part being watched by Suo Luo. There seemed to be an extremely sharp long knife, standing on it, exuding cold air. It makes him feel quite uncomfortable. Although my talent is not as good as Lu Qi, it is still the best among CP9. The mission between life and death has gone through countless times. But compared to how it feels now, even the special task between life and death does not seem to be a big deal. Suddenly, Kaku seemed to think of something suddenly. The two pupils suddenly dilated. He suddenly remembered that when he first joined CP9, Lu Qi had watched him in a similar way because a task had not been handled properly. Even the feeling Lu Qi gave to me at the time can't be compared with this Marine. Who is he? Until then, Kaku had completely changed his face. He took a deep breath of air hard, trying to suppress the throbbing in his heart. But it can't be suppressed at all. This feeling is really terrible. Just like a giant dragon, staring at himself covetously. It seems to swallow yourself at any time. This guy, isn't he Marine warrant officer? How could there be such a terrifying killing intent? Kaku never dreamed of it. One day, I will feel a sense of crisis even more terrifying than Lu Qi from an ordinary Marine. This kind of thing simply subverted Kaku's perception of Marine. The original naval headquarters guy. Are they all so scary? This is a monster at all. No, 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 Kaku quickly denied. If naval headquarters are all monsters like Suo Luo, what does world government want them to do with CP9? What else does Pluton do? With these monsters alone, all pirates can be eliminated. You just wanted to kill me, right? Suo Luo, who had been silent all of a sudden, spoke slowly. The voice was low, but very powerful, like a sharp knife that pierced Kaku's heart. Grunt. He rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. Although I don't know why a shipbuilder wants to shoot Marine, but... Suo Luo paused for a while, adding to his tone, don't be impulsive, otherwise, you will really die. Soon, Suo Luo slowly raised his arm, spread his 5 fingers, and pressed Kaku's shoulder. A huge pressure rolled over, causing Kaku to stop instantly. His forehead, as well as behind, are all new sweat coming out of him. Wet his clothes. Then Suo Luo stepped forward and came to Kaku's side. Where is the boat I need? Although Suo Luo didn't want to cause trouble, nor did he want to get involved with CP9. But this time, I'm afraid it is not a situation that can be avoided by pretending to be foolish. Until this moment, Kaku fully realized why Robin would get along with Suo Luo. This guy, it is very likely that Robin was suppressed with his powerful strength. But shortly afterwards, Kaku had an unknown premonition in his heart. Is it possible that Suo Luo is planning to escort Robin to naval headquarters? Both CP9 and naval headquarters are organizations that maintain justice for the world government. But between the two, there are very few exchanges on tasks. What's more, this task is highly valued by the world government. It's a secret among secrets. Just the layout, it will last for several years. Naval headquarters, naturally it is impossible to hear. For Robin's bounty, it has not been revoked. Marine arrested Robin and went to the headquarters to return to life, which is also understandable. What should I do now? Exposure to this Marine. Tell him I am a secret agent of CP9. Kaku couldn't help whispering in his heart. Not to mention that this is a confidential issue. I really told Suo Luo, can he believe it? CP9 has never been made public. Thinking about going, Kaku felt that he could only choose to do something here. Even if he is not Suo Luo's opponent. Once the battle broke out, it would attract the attention of other shipbuilders. Even if I can't beat this Marine, with Lu Qi's strength, I can definitely subdue this guy easily. No matter how you say it, he is the strongest combat power of CP9 in 800 years. Kaku thought to himself, and settled his attention. Shave, call out. I saw Kaku disappeared from the spot, leaving only an afterimage. With the burst of 6 shaves, he instantly appeared behind Suo Luo. The action is clean and neat. If you let other shipbuilders see this scene, they will definitely be amazed by their own strength. But right now, I can't take care of that much anymore. Several years of undercover tasks. How can a Marine disrupt the plan? Sorry, Marine. However, what Kaku did not expect to die was that he hadn't waited for him to gain a foothold. Suo Luo has finished his turn. It seems that he has already counted his next step. Not only that, but he didn't know when he pulled out the samurai sword from his waist with his right hand. The sharp point of the knife is aligning to his throat. The speed was so fast that he didn't see his movements clearly. This guy, how did you do it? Kaku was shocked. The move I just used, but 6 moves. In an instant, you can teleport yourself to the enemy's side. Like a Superman. Result, your actions are actually slower than Suo Luo. This is simply a monster. For a moment, Kaku couldn't help holding his breath, and his mood was very intense one after another. At this moment, Kaku couldn't help but doubt that CP9 organization's strongest combat power in 800 years. Genius Lucy, will there be such a speed? Even more terrifying, what should I do now? Kaku's eyes fell on the silver blade. His brain is a little confused. The body does not dare to act at will. Strong intuition was telling him. As long as you act rashly, the sharp katana can pierce his body in an instant. The speed of the opponent is too fast. I didn't even have time to react. Completely suppress. With my strength, even if you look at the entire CP9 organization, it can be considered a leader. Even, there is only Lu Qi who can convince me. Especially in terms of speed, that has always been my favorite part. As a result, I was completely defeated in the speed field where I am best. There is no possibility of fighting back. Suo Luo's strength has reached a terrifying point. However, if you kill Kaku here. Suo Luo stared at Kaku blankly, and did not rush to move. Although their location is relatively remote, not many shipbuilders have noticed here. But if you continue to do it, it is likely to cause commotion. And in my impression, Kaku is not only Grandmaster 6, but also a Zone Fruit ability. Although Zone is not as unpredictable as Logia, and not as open-minded as Paramecia, it can fundamentally strengthen the body. Let the vitality and defensive power reach a very exaggerated point. This guy Kaku might be more resistant to playing than Crocodile. Don't consider Shikai Ryujin Jaka's words. It might take 2 knives to hack Kaku to death. If Kaku died on Dock 1, the people of CP9 would definitely not give up. And Eni's lobby is not far from here. Suo Luo couldn't help muttering to himself. If you can't make it right, I'm afraid I have to face the entire CP9, even the world government. After killing Kaku, Lu Qi will definitely come. Lu Qi is here, and everyone else will come. Once Eni's lobby knows that Lu Qi has been defeated, it will definitely report the matter to the world government. At that time, maybe it will be Buster Call. The more Suo Luo thought about it, the more troublesome it became. Although Robin gave him advice, let him expose his strength appropriately and let the people at Marine's upper class pay attention to join the faction. But the current situation is obviously not the strength that Robin said. Once you face the Buster Call, I'm afraid it's not about exposing a billion points of strength. So troublesome. After thinking for a while, Suo Luo had to put away his murderous aura. Next time, don't show this mood swing to me. Otherwise, I would really kill you. As for the ship, you don't need you. In the end, Suo Luo took the knife and restored his previous smile. Simply brushed past Kaku. I am going to find someone else to help me choose a sailboat that can go to sea as soon as possible. And until Suo Luo walked out a distance of tens of meters. Kaku regained his breathing. Yes, when confronting Suo Luo tit for tat, that powerful aura made him unable to breathe even the least. It was not until Suo Luo left that his body recovered these most basic functions. At the same time Kaku understood. The remarks just now were by no means a mere warning. Next time, if I show killing intent to Suo Luo again, he will never show mercy. What a monster. Kaku took a deep breath in an attempt to calm his emotions, but the shock in his heart could not calm down for a long time. His worldview and cognition are suffering an unprecedented huge impact. I must notify Lu Qi of this quickly. The whole CP9, maybe only Lu Qi can stop this marine. If he really wants to take Robin away. Soon, Kaku reacted. It's not the time to stand here stupidly now. Kaku hurriedly left Dock 1 and came to a very hidden room. There are not many facilities in this room, so it looks a bit empty. Kaku was restless, pacing back and forth in the room. Prior to this, he had used phone worms to contact other members of the organization. Da. With the sound of footsteps approaching, Kaku slowly stopped and turned to look at the door, but the tension on his face did not disappear. Crunch. Soon, the door was pushed open. The visitor was wearing a boatman's suit, a black top hat, and a white pigeon on his shoulder, which looked very eye-catching. It's just Rob Lucci, the core member of CP9. It is worth mentioning that although the highest officer of CP9 is Spandam, he relies on his own relationship to sit on this chair. His own strength and brains are very general. Under normal circumstances, Lucci is more like the head of the CP9 organization. Behind him is a tall woman. A yellow blouse is paired with a black skirt, and black knee-length boots are worn on the feet. It is Khalifa, the only female member of the entire CP9 organization. Currently also the secretary of Bingshan. When she saw Kaku's face a little flustered, she couldn't help whispering in her heart. Kaku's character has always been stable, and he is a very good agent in the organization. Rarely will show real emotions. However, he now is completely opposite to the man in his own impression. Could it be that what happened? Just thought of this. Khalifa couldn't help worrying about the plan. Can make Kaku look like this, except that there was an accident in the plan. She couldn't think of the second possibility. What's wrong? Lu Qi's tone seemed extremely calm. As an excellent agent, he is the strongest combat power of CP9 in 800 years. Lu Qi will naturally not allow any accidents to happen. What's more, the plan this time has attracted great attention from the world government. Just planning, it lasts for several years. In order to complete the task, Rao went to Carrera and worked as a shipbuilder for 5 or 6 years. Accident. Do not make jokes. Hearing this, Kaku nodded firmly, indicating that there was indeed an accident. The marine next to Robin. I made contact with him. Although he has not yet figured out his identity, I dare to assert that he is by no means ordinary. Even, our plan is likely to be affected by his appearance. He is a very unstable factor in our plan, Kaku said without thinking. In his opinion, this matter should probably be reported to the higher authorities. And let them operate through relationships, and invite the people from naval headquarters to come forward. Come and get that marine away from Robin. This is almost Kaku, the most reliable solution that can be thought of. The things that just happened simply subverted his perception of Marine's strength. Until now, Kaku could not recover from that emotion. It's so shocking. Rao was Lu Qi, also surprised. That Kaku, who had always been calm and self-confident, was panicked like this now. What is the origin of that marine? He was determined to be an unstable factor. You know, for tasks that require undercover, the most troublesome factor is instability. Because no one can predict how much influence this factor will have on the plan. Maybe it's minimal, maybe the sky is falling apart. It's all inaccurate things. Considering the current situation, it is obvious that the latter is more likely. That Marine, but had direct contact with Robin. Robin is undoubtedly a vital part of the overall plan. Because only she can interpret ancient texts. Certainly. Even if it is really as Kaku said. Lu Qi will not let the naval headquarters intervene in the way of operation. On the one hand, this is undoubtedly equivalent to telling the people above that their CP9 does not have the ability to deal with emergencies. Because of Lu Qi's character, he is naturally unwilling to do this kind of shameless thing. On the other hand, it is strong self-confidence. The strongest combat power of CP9 in 800 years is not from Lu Qi, but the name he used to fight for with great strength. And his acting style has always been to deal with the so-called unstable factors, wipe them out. In the fastest and easiest way, the obstructors will be eliminated. It doesn't matter if the other party is a pirate, marine, or something else. Only in this way can we ensure that the plan is foolproof. What's more, the CP9 organization acts as an intelligence agency directly under the world government. It is given the highest authority. Anyone can be punished out of justice. No report required. Unstable factor. Khalifa on the side also showed a surprised look. She has always understood Kaku. Looking at the entire CP9 organization, he is a leader. Really started, it is Rear Admiral of Naval Headquarters, it is not his opponent. Especially his swordsmanship. It can completely kill the enemy silently. In my impression, the Marine who followed Robin's side. It looks very young, and the uniform is just warrant officer level. Is it possible? With Kaku's strength, it is impossible to get rid of the so-called instability factors. Must Lu Qi come forward? This kind of thing is very rare. Did you fight that Marine? For a moment, Khalifa couldn't help asking. If it's not a real deal. She felt that Kaku wouldn't panic like this. Yeah, Kaku nodded, the corners of his mouth raised, and a wry smile appeared. Khalifa, you may not believe it. Kaku's tone seemed heavy. Just remembering the scene just now made him chill. The speed of that Marine is really outrageous. As Kaku spoke, Lu Qi and Khalifa also focused their attention. I lost. Kaku took a deep breath. Although it was just a test, I was fully psychologically prepared at the time. Result. Suppressed in an instant. You know, what I am most proud of, except for speed, is swordsmanship. But facing that Marine, whether it is speed or swordsmanship, I am far from it. Kaku's voice began to tremble. The scariest thing is, I didn't even see him pulling the sword. Yes, you heard it right. I am good at swordsmanship, and I can't even see the opponent's sword drawing action. Kaku was emotionally a little excited, and spoke out what had happened before. Even self-confidence in swordsmanship built up through a long time. Just the initial confrontation, Suo Luo, completely crushed. As Kaku finished talking about the ins and outs, the atmosphere on the scene gradually became weird. There was no sound, especially Lu Qi. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Kaku, almost the second combat power of the entire CP9. Strength is second only to himself. Result, when facing that Marine, he didn't even see the opponent's movements clearly. Are you kidding me? When did such a monster appear in Marine? It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Even Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, swordsmanship may not be much better than Kaku. Furthermore, he was suppressed without even seeing the opponent's movements. This kind of thing, even for me, is difficult to do. Lu Qi couldn't help thinking to himself. Even what he couldn't do was easily done by a Marine. The scariest thing is, they are CP9, but the most powerful spy organization in the world. But he knows very little about a Marine. Even his powerful strength was tested by Kaku himself. Just found out. For a time, Lu Qi, who was once confident, couldn't help but feel heavy. Could it be? The plan has been carefully laid out for several years. Are you really going to be disturbed by the appearance of a Marine? Khalifa on the side opened his eyes widened, and Hua's face was shocked. In her heart, it was enough to describe the word shock. How strong is Kaku? She is naturally very clear. As a result, according to his description, that Marine's strength, I am afraid that he can kill Kaku in a flash. How outrageous is this? Is it the one I heard wrong? At this moment, Khalifa even began to wonder if there was something wrong with his hearing. Otherwise, with Kaku's strength, How could he be suppressed instantly? Grunt. Khalifa rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. If what Kaku said is true, then this incident is really incredible. In fact, with the strength of Kaku, let alone the CP9 organization. Just look at the entire sea. He is very powerful. And, how old is Kaku only this year? 23. Although it is incomparable with monsters like Lucci, at the age of 23, he is called CP9's number 2 combat power in terms of strength. It's already quite a scary thing. And people like him are in Khalifa's cognition. Undoubtedly a genius. Result, it was a genius like Kaku who was suppressed in an instant. She even felt that this kind of monster appeared in the City of Seven Waters and appeared beside Robin. It is by no means a coincidence. Maybe in naval headquarters. Clandestine operations were also launched. And CP9 and naval headquarters are not related to subordinates. We have planned a multi-year plan, maybe it will really change because of this. Kaku, are you really kidding? Khalifa took a deep breath and couldn't help asking. Now she really wants to hear something from Kaku. I was joking, teasing you. But, don't talk about Kaku anymore. It is any member of CP9. It's impossible to make such a joke at this juncture. However, this can't be blamed on Khalifa's sudden inexplicable thoughts. This is really outrageous, so that she couldn't accept it for a while. It is even more unimaginable. How terrifying is the strength of a person who can instantly suppress Kaku? How could I make such a joke? Kaku shook his head helplessly, the corners of his mouth raised, and a wry smile appeared. Then, could it be that you were suppressed because you were not prepared? Khalifa saw this and continued to guess. Because according to Kaku, Suo Luo stood behind him at the time. And the distance between the two parties is very close. Coupled with the lack of knowledge of the other party. That's how it happened. Let Kaku mistakenly believe that the opponent's strength is terrifying. But in fact, the opponent is not that strong. If you start fighting from the beginning, maybe you will win. Indeed, Lucci on the side agreed, and he also agreed with Khalifa's idea very much. After all, neither side used their own cards. Kaku did not bring weapons at the time. Not to use the orc form. And, for this mission, they lurked for several years in the City of Seven Waters. It's been a long time since I started with anyone. Suddenly encounter the strong, it is inevitable that there will be errors in judgment. Beat, spike. Although the results are the same, the concepts are vastly different. Kaku was defeated. Lucci didn't think it was impossible. After all, there are many strong men at sea. But, Kaku was killed in a second, and he couldn't accept it. Someone who can do this. How strong is it? Vice Admiral. Shichibukai, or Quasi-Admiral, even Admiral strength. How does it compare to your own strength? Can't speculate. Disturbed. At this moment, Lucci's heart was indescribably uneasy. The outcome of a battle often has many key factors. Status, judgment, choice. It's a careless moment. Overconfidence in one's own strength, as well as underestimating the enemy, or not being prepared and enlightened. It doesn't mean that the opponent's strength is stronger than you. Lucci analyzed, but this reason is more like comforting himself. You can't understand. Kaku's face turned pale. Although his talent and strength are not as good as Lucci. But how could he not know this common sense? As long as there are factors in it, he will not panic like this. Especially that feeling, that kind of oppression. Dao power, there is too much difference. Even if you give me enough time to prepare, I am not that guy's opponent. Even I suspect. Kaku's voice stopped abruptly, and his eyes fell on Lucci. Do you doubt what? Lucci frowned and asked. And the next words, Kaku couldn't say it anyway. He even doubted that Lucci's strength might be stronger than that of Marine. Maybe, all CP9 members need to act together. There is enough chance of winning. But such words are undoubtedly a question of Lucci's strength. Even Kaku himself was shocked. Lucci is the strongest combat power of CP9 in 800 years. This is something everyone in the organization believes in. As a result, because of the appearance of a Marine, he actually questioned Lucci's strength. This must be a fantasy. I suspect that this Marine may be a secret weapon cultivated by the headquarters, a super scary newcomer. Kaku took a deep breath and had to change his opinion. The reason why he appeared this time is because Naval Headquarters finally made up his mind to completely erase everything about Ohara. Lu Qi's face changed drastically. Because he felt that such a possibility is not completely impossible. Suo Luo quickly walked through the streets of the city of Seven Waters. The surrounding people come and go, full of excitement. According to the original plan, he wanted to solve the problem of the ship at Dock 1, and then called Robin to come and go directly to sea. Stay away from this land of right and wrong. As a result, he ran into Kaku, who wanted to solve his own problem. Although relying on the crushing momentum, Kaku was temporarily forced back, but according to Suo Luo's cognition, he didn't think the CP9 organization would swallow. In order to avoid any trouble, Suo Luo contacted Robin with a phone worm and agreed with her a meeting place. But I don't know when. The city of Kashui is bright and sunny, and the streets are full of people coming and going, which is very lively. But I felt a cold air approaching me. It seems to have a pair of eyes, staring at himself in secret. Like a wolf ambushing its prey, it will rush to take a bite at any time. It's CP9 again. Suo Luo's eyes slowly condensed slightly. I am now wearing a marine uniform. The city of Seven Waters is similar to Eni's lobby. Normal pirates, there is no reason to ambush a marine soldier in this situation. Suo Luo naturally thought of CP9 for a while. Although I have some contact with Carrera, they are legal industries after all. Even if I just had a friction with Kaku, one of their top 5 foremen, they did not dare to provoke Marine. Just think about it, Suo Luo will not think that he is a person from Carrera, tracking himself. Because they don't have the guts. Especially Bingberg, the owner of Carrera. He himself is afraid of world government. Wished to stay away from Marine and CP organization. As for the Earth Snake in the capital of Seven Waters, for example, the Frankie family, although they will rob the pirates of their property, they are looking at Marine. It is undoubtedly a death. Suo Luo didn't think they would be idiots to this point. Eliminate all possibilities. There is only the CP9 organization. And the probability is also high. Let's not say that I suppressed Kaku's problem. Robin alone is enough to make them immortal with themselves. I wanted to pass the time difference and sneak away from under their noses without knowing it. It seems that I still underestimate CP9. It's really worthy of being an espionage department directly under the world government. Suo Luo thought to himself. But, although he always feels troublesome and has a mentality of wanting salted fish, he is not afraid of trouble in essence. If from the beginning, I did not invite Robin to join Marine. When encountering this kind of thing, he also divides the line with Robin. You go yours, I go mine. Do you want Robin in CP9? Give you. But now, I not only promised Robin, but also ensured her personal safety. I also need Robin's brain and knowledge. If you give in here, give Robin to CP9. On the one hand, don't you become a person who doesn't believe in words. On the other hand, if you encounter any problems in the future, there will be one less person around you who will make suggestions. I'm almost at the place agreed with Robin. Suo Luo glanced at the surrounding situation. Obviously, the other party has no plans to shoot on the street. This time the plan is very important to CP9, even at the expense of Carrera undercover for several years. Because of my relationship, it is really not their style to expose your identity on the street. If I guessed correctly, these guys are waiting for me to walk to a quiet place. Suo Luo thought to himself, but the pace continued to accelerate. Go straight to the alley, agreed with Robin. Here. It is a relatively wide and deserted dead end. The distance between the walls on both sides is as much as 8 meters. In addition, the buildings on both sides are very tall, making it difficult for sunlight to enter. The whole alley looked cold, and the road underneath also looked a little muddy. Dirty water stains are everywhere. The air is somewhat humid. It is incompatible with the bustling outside. Even as there is not enough sunlight, the sewer here will emit a stinky smell from time to time. However, even this environment did not affect Robin. She just had a calm face, standing on the edge, waiting for Suo Luo's arrival. He didn't even pinch his nose. Suo Luo was not in a hurry to talk to Robin, but went straight to the depths of the alley, slowly slowing down until he stopped. Then, Suo Luo turned around and turned his back to Robin. This scene surprised Robin a little. According to her assumption, Suo Luo should come here to meet with herself, and then go to the place where the boat stops, leaving the city of Seven Waters. But now, Suo Luo seems to want to accomplish something here. An ominous hunch came to Robin's heart spontaneously. Actually, as soon as Robin entered the city of Seven Waters, she met members of the CP9 organization, and was warned by them. The plan is about to begin. This matter was like a thorn, deeply buried in Robin's heart. I planned to tell Suo Luo about it after meeting Suo Luo. But now it seems, that group of guys, it is very likely that Suo Luo has also been eyed. It's all here, don't you plan to show up? A smile appeared on Suo Luo's face, looking at the only exit of the alley, and slowly speaking. Without waiting for the voice to fall, the echo reverberated in this alley. After a few breaths, the sound disappeared. The fact is as Suo Luo expected. Da da da. The sound of the heel stepping on the ground sounded very loud in such a quiet environment. Robin immediately held his breath and looked in the direction of the sound. Both hands were directly clenched into fists. In her sight, a tall and thin man in a black suit walked into the alley step by step. And behind him, there were two men and one woman. They are almost dressed up. It looks very formal in formal wear. And all wearing a mask. The only exit of this small alley was completely sealed. At the same time, I don't know if it is a coincidence. When these people walked in, all the noise on the street disappeared. It was as if the whole street had been emptied. But, although these people have chosen to use masks to hide their true identities. But for Suo Luo, who is a traverser, this kind of disguise is useless at all. Based on the height, appearance, and combination of these people, Suo Luo can guess their true identity. Really. Suo Luo's eyes condensed slightly, his hands inserted into kabuto, and he didn't speak in a hurry. But quietly feeling the aura of these people. It's the CP9 organization, following me. Only, I never dreamed that the strongest combat power known as CP9 in 800 years would appear in person. Suo Luo took a deep breath and couldn't help feeling in his heart. I thought it was just a little girl. Did not expect. The person who came, turned out to be the big boss directly. In a dark alley, Suo Luo watched the comer who appeared suddenly. This man is tall and slender, and his black suit highlights his almost perfect figure. On his shoulders stood a very eye-catching white dove. Although there is a mask to cover the facial features, Suo Luo can easily recognize the identity of the other party. The CP9 organization has the strongest combat power in 800 years. Rob Lucci. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became quiet. Suo Luo can even hear his breathing and heartbeat. The development of the matter completely exceeded his expectations. Yes, Suo Luo never dreamed of it. The person who followed him would turn out to be Lucci. I thought that the person who came was at most a secret agent of the CP9 organization. They warned me and kept me away from Robin. Did not expect. The city of Seven Waters, no. It should be said that it is the big boss of Eni's lobby, but it is directly on the stage. Suo Luo, who is a traverser, knows very well. Although the chief of CP9 is Spandam, the real leadership core within it is Lucci in front of him. He is the only one who can convince the members of CP9 to obey orders unconditionally. Things got tricky. But, having said that, Suo Luo did not feel more nervous. He just stood still, looking at Lucci and others coldly. Although I don't know who you are, but you openly attack a marine, you are too courageous, right? After a breath, Suo Luo spoke slowly. I hope I can use the identity of marine to persuade the other party to calm down. However, say these words out. Embarrassed. It's so embarrassing, this conversation. Suo Luo seemed calm on the surface, but couldn't help but complain about himself in his heart. As for fear and anxiety, absolutely not. Even if the person in front of him is known as the strongest CP9 in 800 years. Suo Luo is not worried either. I want to ask you, where are you wholly? Lucci didn't rush to shoot, but asked back. Moreover, his nerves are in a tight state at this time. Don't dare to relax in the slightest, careless. Before coming, he had a general idea of Suo Luo's strength from Kaku's mouth. Just in case, not only did he go out in person this time, All the CP9 agents in the city of Seven Waters were dispatched. Ambush in every corner. In his eyes, Suo Luo is a man with a very high risk factor. Otherwise, how could Kaku be suppressed in one round? You know, Kaku is the number 2 fighting force within the organization anyway. One round of suppression simply subverted Lu Qi's cognition. Based on this relationship, when Lu Qi stood in front of Suo Luo, he would be so careful. After this guy made contact with Kaku, I even used all the intelligence networks that I could use. Lu Qi half squinted his eyes and thought to himself. Before launching this operation, he used almost every means. Result, still did not find any useful information. The Marine in front of him has not uncovered any major incidents. The famous pirate group has not been wiped out. Even this person has no sense of existence. Obviously he has great strength, but in the intelligence network, no useful information about him can be found. Either it is Suo Luo who has been disguising himself. Either Suo Luo is extremely important to naval headquarters and is a kind of secret weapon. So everything about him has been wiped out by higher level people. A higher level of existence than the CP9 organization. No matter which one is, it is enough to show that Suo Luo is not simple. Suo Luo couldn't help but startled. Who am I? He thought that with the intelligence network organized by CP9, he had been investigated by Lu Qi a long time ago. Result, this guy didn't even figure out who he was. But I want to come. Since crossing into this world, he has been by Smoker's side. But, since the other party does not know his identity, that would be easier. A smile appeared on Suo Luo's face, a Marine on mission. Since the other party doesn't know who he is, that kind of self-reporting things, fools will do it. And Lu Qi also seemed to have expected Suo Luo's answer. He stared at Suo Luo, his voice did not waver at all. Mr. Marine, as the Supreme Commander of CP9, I would like to warn you. Please leave the city of Seven Waters immediately. Give us the woman next to you. If possible, Lu Qi did not want to clash with Suo Luo. In order for this plan to be successfully concluded, they have devoted several years of hard work. Any unstable factors, he didn't want to see it. Especially when I think of the Marine in front of him can suppress Kaku in an instant. Rao is Lu Qi, who has always been invincible, and he is also a little jealous. Even if he can win Suo Luo in the end, a big battle is bound to break out. And once you start in the capital of Seven Waters, no one can predict the spread of the battle. Once there is a difference in the pool, maybe that guy Bingberg will be alert. This is by no means the situation that the CP9 organization hopes to see. So, after some totals, Lu Qi decided to let Suo Luo leave the city of Seven Waters in a peaceful way. However, if Lu Qi just let himself leave the city of Seven Waters, Suo Luo was naturally happy, because he didn't want to conflict with Lu Qi either. No matter how you say, to win the next battle is very simple, but it is undoubtedly a very stupid behavior to fall into the pressure of waiting for the next battle to come. However, Robin on the side couldn't help but his expression became tense. As early as a long time ago, she had contact with the CP9 organization. And know how terrible these people are. Once touched their bottom line. Even Marine, they dare to execute. Also eligible for execution. Conflict with them is definitely not a sensible act. Even in her opinion, even Suo Luo will eventually agree with the other party and abandon himself here. For himself, thinking of this, Robin's eyes inevitably dimmed. Perhaps, I should have known this a long time ago. From the beginning, I was an ominous person. You should not have any illusions about your partner. Waiting for oneself, there is always only use and betrayal. Suo Luo is just another crocodile. However, just when Robin was so sure in his heart, Suo Luo spoke slowly. Can I not accept your warning? First, I'm Marine, and you are the CP organization. Although they are directly under the department of the world government. But the two departments are not in a superior-subordinate relationship. It's a warning, but it's an order, right? Across an organization, come and give me orders. This gentleman, don't you think you are being funny? With Suo Luo's current strength, naturally he will not be deterred by the mere CP9 organization. In any case, he just found it troublesome, not afraid of trouble. Rao is a direct order from Lu Qi. Suo Luo was also unmoved. In the words, there is no respect for Lu Qi. Robin on the side stood still on the spot. She turned her head slightly, staring at Suo Luo's profile, and couldn't help blinking her eyes, seriously wondering if she had any hallucinations. Suo Luo turned out to be for himself. Do not hesitate to organize with CP. Still CP9 organization conflict. And Lu Qi's face also turned green at this time. He never dreamed that the Marine in front of him would be stunned. Even the name of CP9 could not shock him. You know, His Majesty, let alone in the CP9 organization. So far, no one has dared to disobey his will. This is the final warning. If you can leave, both of us can be in peace. However, if you insist on doing this, then we CP9 are not afraid to use force here. Lu Qi spoke again, his tone full of killing intent. To say whether you were 100% sure to kill Suo Luo. Lu Qi didn't actually have it. But this time, he came prepared. Except for Kaku, Khalifa, and Bluno who followed behind him. In fact, there are other members ambushing here. In an instant, more members of the CP9 organization appeared in this dim alley. Jabra, Kumadori, Otana Fukuro, one after another. In addition, there are dozens of CP9 members who do not have a Master 6. Enclosed the entire alley. Robin on the side was even more stunned in his heart. She has always understood the methods of CP9. CP9 actually dispatched so many people at once to deal with Suo Luo. Robin's eyes were wide and round, and his mouth opened slightly, forming a big O shape. She couldn't help but guess. Is it possible? These people should know that Suo Luo defeated Crocodile. But through the reaction of the other party, they seem to be ignorant of this matter. Or, what happened during the time that Suo Luo was separated from him? Probably, you know, the agents trained by the CP9 organization are all elites among the elite. The result is now to deal with a Marine. All were dispatched. This lineup is quite rare. This. Suo Luo looked around, feeling surprised. Because he remembers it clearly. In the City of Seven Waters, only Lu Qi, Kaku, Khalifa, and Bluno entered the Carrera Company undercover. More CP9 organization members. It was after the identities of Lu Qi and others were exposed that they appeared one by one. In other words, the appearance of these people means that they were gathered by Lu Qi. And in Lu Qi's cognition, Robin is not his opponent. These people, it's for yourself. I didn't expect that the CP9 organization, except for Spandam, would come together. By the way, didn't I just suppress Kaku? As for the entire CP9 organization, is there such a huge sense of oppression? Suo Luo couldn't help but complain. He never dreamed that things would become more and more difficult. If it's just Lu Qi, then forget it. The big deal will kill them. But now, all members of the CP9 organization are dispatched. Do you want to erase the entire CP9 department from this world? If I really did that, I'm afraid it won't let the world government fall into panic. Suo Luo thought to himself. In any case, defeating Lu Qi, and defeating the entire CP9 organization. The nature is completely different. Lu Qi's eyes narrowed slightly, and he stared at Suo Luo who was in deep thought. This guy, it seems that he really doesn't get in. In his opinion, Suo Luo is now ready to fight. Would rather go to war with the entire CP9 organization. Not willing to hand over Robin. Or, the task he received is really important. Or, he has full confidence in his own strength. And through Kaku's dictation. And his performance in the face of danger. Lu Qi felt that the second possibility was even greater. Dispersion. Soon, Lu Qi gave the order. Let Kaku and others behind him disperse at this moment. Slowly approaching Suo Luo. In an instant, Suo Luo is in the encirclement of the CP9 organization. Although Jabra and others do not know why Lu Qi is afraid of a Marine, they still do what Lu Qi explained. Strong murderousness. It burst from them. The ordinary members of CP9 stand in a more peripheral position. It does not seem to be ready to directly intervene in the battle. Lu Qi's low-pitched voice, the whole aura and just now are like two people. At this time, he has once again recovered to be the invincible world. The strongest combat power to kill without blinking. We CP9, as a secret unit directly under the world government, has the highest authority. That is in the name of justice, to kill all those who hinder us. Since you don't want to leave, then I can only let you stay in the City of Seven Waters forever. Lu Qi's remarks undoubtedly sentenced Suo Luo to death. Let me stay in the City of Seven Waters forever. Suo Luo couldn't help but shook his head helplessly. Although he knew that Lu Qi was very strong. But he is stronger than Lucy. You are really confident enough. With his current strength, let alone the mere CP9 organization. It is the apex of the CP organization. CP0 is close, it is useless. I have to leave today, no one can keep it. You better leave. However, at this moment, Robin, who had been silent all the time, suddenly spoke. Now she has fully felt Suo Luo's heart. It is no exaggeration to say that so far, for my own sake, I have not hesitated to conflict with the CP9 organization. Suo Luo is the only one. Combine those guys who betray themselves at every turn. At this moment, Robin was deeply moved. But in her heart, she didn't think that Suo Luo would be the opponent of the entire CP9 organization. Once the conflict broke out between the two sides, he will definitely die. I will go with you. Robin took a deep breath and turned to Lu Qi. I hope he will stop embarrassing Suo Luo. However, as soon as Robin's voice fell, Jabra took the lead. Shave. I saw him disappear in the same place. The next second he appeared behind Suo Luo, instantly condensing the power of his whole body to the index finger, aimed at Suo Luo's chest, and shot directly. Finger pistol. The powerful force stabs out at super high speed, and the power of the attack is far better than large caliber bullets. Die, Marine. Jabra let out a low growl, as if witnessing Suo Luo's death. However, in an instant, a majestic force hit his cheek and lifted him away. Although Jabra used the fastest speed to launch a surprise attack on Suo Luo, it was in the latter's perspective. His movements are still as slow as a slide. Before Jabra had time to shoot finger pistol, Suo Luo punched his backhand and hit his right cheek. The majestic power emerged in an instant. A terrifying air current spreads in all directions. Jabra's facial features are all piled up. The corners of his eyes, nose and mouth are filled with bright red bloodline, and a few teeth in his mouth are broken. However, compared to the physical damage, Jabra's brain is more impacted. This Marine. What is the problem? His speed, strength. It was even more terrifying than Lucy. How did Naval Headquarters cultivate this kind of monster? Can't understand. Incredible. Bang. With a loud noise, Jabra's body flew upside down on the spot, hitting a nearby building, and his upper body was embedded like a nail. For a time, the whole alley was silent. The atmosphere became weird. All CP9 organization members including Lucky. No one thought that the Jabra with a power of more than 2,100 would be punched and flew by Suo Luo. What just happened? Khalifa blinked hard. She didn't even see Suo Luo's shot. By the time he reacted, Jabra was already embedded in the wall. The thing I dislike the most is trouble. Suo Luo suddenly took a step forward and broke the silence in the alley first. But you guys have to cause me trouble. Then I can only be here to solve you. When he finished speaking, Suo Luo's eyes narrowed slightly. A terrifying aura slowly released from his body. Swept in all directions. A strong sense of oppression is even more pressing on everyone present. Even if he is just standing in front of them, Suo Luo is like a sharp sword out of its sheath. Until this moment, the people of these CP9 organizations completely reacted. The Marine they are facing now. What a terrifying existence it is. Boom. This powerful momentum began to lift the air around Suo Luo, forming a strong air current, spreading towards the surroundings. The speed was so fast that the CP9 members present had no time to react. I saw this air blast on the masks of Lu Qi and others, and lifted it off on the spot. They revealed their very surprised faces. The strongest among them are Kaku and Khalifa. Especially Kaku. He had contact with Suo Luo in dock number 1. At that time, he was sure that Suo Luo was stronger than himself. But now, Suo Luo's aura is nothing like that at that time. Yes, unlike at that time. Because Suo Luo now has a stronger aura than it was then. My hands are shaking. Soon, Kaku glanced down at his hands, and suddenly found that his fingers could not stop shaking. And this is by no means exciting. Khalifa on the side couldn't help rolling his throat and swallowed nervously. Why does this marine have such a terrible aura? This powerful majesty made her feel short of breath even at the very least. The heartbeat is even faster. Don't talk about rebelling against Suo Luo's majesty. She is now struggling just to stay standing. Before that, about what Kaku said. She has always remained skeptical. In any case, Kaku is the number 2 combat force of the CP9 organization. How could it be lost to Marine? But now, she completely believed it. Because the strength gap between the two sides is really too big. Sure enough, Lu Qi's decision was correct. If there is a head-on conflict with this Marine, all members are dispatched to have the only chance of winning. Bluno couldn't help taking a breath. He who had always been calm and steady, now standing in front of Suo Luo, he is also very anxious. So strong. This is the thought of everyone present. Everyone, be careful. Finally, Lu Qi spoke slowly, his hands clenched into fists. Although I am very reluctant to admit this, the strength of this Marine may be stronger than we expected. Don't underestimate the enemy. Lu Qi never thought of his death. One day, I would say this to the people around me. You know, he is the strongest combat power of CP9 in 800 years. Clear. Knowledge. Others answered one after another, and were ready to break out into a full-scale battle. However, just at this moment of tense swordsmanship, Jabra, who was inserted into the wall with a punch by Suo Luo, suddenly violent the blue veins on his arms, pressed his hands against the wall, and pulled out his upper body. Thump! I saw Jabra spinning around in the air and landing safely. Although he looked very embarrassed, even one of his eyes was swollen and he couldn't open most of the teeth in his mouth. But he still faced Suo Luo resolutely. Next second, Jabra's body began to swell. Spread your clothes torn. The muscles on the body began to bulge, the facial features also changed, and there were a lot of black hairs growing out. Like a werewolf. In fact, Jabra is a capable person who has eaten canine fruit and is in the form of a wolf. I'm not so easily defeated. Jabra trembled and roared loudly at Suo Luo. Then, he kicked his feet hard and used the 6 shaves again. He rushed to Suo Luo in an instant. Iron body. Jabra let out another low growl, using the 6-type iron body to harden his whole body, so as to increase their defense power by a large margin. In his opinion, Rao is the current Suo Luo, and it is impossible to cause harm to himself. In addition, most people use the 6 types of iron body, and they must keep their whole body still. Jabra relies on his talent and hard work. He just cultivated the iron body to the point where he could act. And with this, got amazing destructive power. Heavy step wolf. It looks like an ordinary fist slams at Suo Luo, but in fact, it condenses the iron body power of the whole body into the fist. Enough to make the steel plate of a warship into AC shape. But who knows, in the face of the raid launched by Jabra, Suo Luo didn't even look at him. The backhand as a punch. It happened to collide with Jabra's fist. In an instant, a shock wave erupted from between the two. Instead, Jabra had to grit his teeth and wanted to resist the opponent's strength. As a result, this majestic force instantly shattered his bones and shocked his internal organs. Pouch! In the next second, Jabra rolled his eyes and vomited a pool of blood, mixed with some minced meat, and flew out again. Boom! With a loud noise, Jabra's eyes rolled white, his body drew a perfect parabola in the air, and he fell heavily to the ground. Lost consciousness completely, even the ability to use the fruit, plus the 6-type iron body. It was still a face-to-face, but Suo Luo was killed in seconds. Hiss! All of the CP9 members present took a breath. Although Jabra's strength is not as good as that of Lucky, and his power has been surpassed by Kaku, he is still the leader of the CP9 organization. Especially the training of iron body. No one can match. The scariest thing is, throughout the process, Suo Luo did not show any strenuous performance. It's a complete understatement. It seems that the CP9 senior agent is not being dealt with. It's more like killing a trash fish in a second. What a terrible power. Kaku watched Jabra fall, and the fear of Suo Luo once again arose in his heart. The previous experience at dock number 1 reappeared in front of us. Don't talk about killing Jabra in seconds. Even let him give it a go. he was not confident enough to win Jabra in a short time. The gap is huge. But Kaku rolled his throat and grabbed the samurai sword at his waist with both hands. This time, I'm not alone in dealing with this marine. It's CP9 that all members are dispatched. More Lu Qi, the strongest combat power in 800 years. It will work. Kaku clenched his teeth, kicked hard on one foot, and came into the air with the moonwalk of 6 forms. Just in case, he felt that it would be safer to conduct long-range attacks. Soon, Kaku waved both hands and feet at the same time. With katana and 6 tempest kick, Kaku slammed 4 slashes abruptly and galloped out towards Suo Luo. Not only that, at this moment, CP9 organizes all members. All acted. Shave. Lu Qi let out a low growl, and his whole person disappeared out of thin air. Life is back, Kumadori even shouted, making her long pink hair extend as if she had life and self-awareness. It became like a vine and swept towards Suo Luo's feet. Want to keep him firmly in place. Khalifa, Bluno, and Otonashi Fukuro also displayed their 6 styles, and shot towards Suo Luo. Such an amazing scene. I just looked at Robin directly. She never dreamed of it. The entire CP9 will be shot by all members. Attack Suo Luo together. This is bad. Robin screamed and raised his hands at the same time, trying to save Suo Luo. In her cognition, Rao is a strong like Suo Luo, and he can't deal with the entire CP9 organization. However, at the moment when she did something, several CP9 members flashed to her side, and everyone's fingers were pointed at her brain. Warn her that it is best to do nothing. This is not the battle she should intervene. But, facing such a big battle, Suo Luo only had his eyes fixed slightly. Seeing that Kaku's 4 swords flow reached his chest first. Ah! Suo Luo sighed helplessly, but the movements on his hands were clean and neat. Draw a knife, resist, fight back, all in one go. The majestic power instantly blocked these 4 sword auras. Next second, a terrifying air pressure began to burst from the tip of the knife, stirring the air. With Suo Luo's light pick, the violent power instantly dissipated Kaku's slash. Call out. Immediately afterwards, there was a silver arc, soaring into the sky, and went straight to Kaku, who was standing in the air. And in this dim alley, the light of the knife released by Suo Luo was even brighter and dazzling. Boom! There was a loud noise. This flash hit Kaku's chest. Iron body. In a desperate situation, Kaku, who was inevitable, could only choose to insist on this move, condensing his strength to his chest, so as to become as hard as steel. The 2 forces collided and slammed into each other. Kaku held his breath and wanted to use the hardness of the iron body to dissipate Suo Luo's slash. However, it wasn't until this moment that Kaku realized how arrogant he was. The combat power between the 2 sides is not at the same level at all. The slash released by Suo Luo found a breakthrough in Kaku's body and embedded it on the spot. I saw Kaku's pupils dilated instantly, his brain was blank, and his scalp felt numb. Own iron body. It was easily cracked by Suo Luo. Pouch. I saw blood flying out of the huge gap, and Kaku's body was pushed out by the slash, hitting the building on the side. Rumble. Accompanied by loud noises, Kaku's body was directly hit by Suo Luo's attack. The entire staircase building was penetrated by this violent force on the spot. Under this shock, the ground of the alley began to tremble and shake, like a sailboat in the sea. The other CP9 members saw this behind the scenes. It was even more stunned. One after another dumbfounded. Careful. At the critical moment, Lu Qi loudly reminded everyone to be careful of Suo Luo's swordsmanship. At the same time, Lu Qi also flashed behind Suo Luo with the speed of the 6-style shave. He planned to cooperate with Kumadori to return his life, but ended up dropping Suo Luo. But who knows? Suo Luo's movements were even more straightforward. After flying Kaku with a knife, he loosened his 5 fingers and let the samurai sword in his hand spin half a circle in the air and land on the ground. Stabbed into Kumadori's hair impartially. Surroundings, everything is ashes. Ryujin Jaka. In the next second, Suo Luo directly liberated this ordinary katana and made it look true. In an instant, gray smoke emanated from the blade, and the temperature of the blade rose steadily. The part where the tip of the knife was inserted to snuggle up the hair, a fire burst out, swallowing the opponent's hair on the spot. Soon, the fire was like a broken bamboo, distorting the space here on the spot. The raging fire even spread to the top of the snuggled head, making him extremely painful, and he quickly rolled into the ditch to the side in an attempt to put out the fire. Not to mention Khalifa and Bluno. Their moral power itself is not very strong. Just Suo Luo's explosive aura pushed them back several meters. Can't get close to Suo Luo at all. You are the core figure of CP9, right? Regarding the other CP9 members, Suo Luo didn't even bother to glance at it. He turned to meet Lu Qi's gaze and asked in a low voice. It seems that you are very good at using physical skills. Suo Luo said lightly, but took Ryujin Jaka back in his hand. Lu Qi's eyes went wide in an instant, and his nerves were straightened at this moment. He could clearly see how Suo Luo used 2 knives to get rid of Kaku and Snuggle. The scariest thing is, Suo Luo's swordsmanship has no extra moves. Simple and crude. There are 2 movements before and after. Brandishing a knife. Fall. But it was such a simple action that gave Lu Qi a great shock. So that, he dared not shoot at such close range. He took a breath, forcibly changed his footsteps, and backed away again and again. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.